Hey, YouTubers, what's going on? Looks like two people beat me here. How is everybody? We don't have anybody that's online yet. But you can chat it up in the chat box on YouTube, and I'll chat it up with you. Comet Omelet, what's up, sir? How are you, buddy? Thank you for your support every month. I appreciate it, man. Anthony, you're watching live. 7 people watching now. What's up? I'm the only one that made it so far. The others are trickling in. The Goofy Strawberry, the 9-year-old. Is that your real age, Goofy Strawberry? And do your parents know that you're on the internet? Hey, we've got a lot of books to cover in this first podcast, which we're going to review. This is the books we're going to review. We've got ASM 817. Here, if you can see that right there. We've got 16 Point Who, I guess that stands for hunted. We've got ASM 818 that we're going to talk about. And we have ASM 819 that we're going to tackle. I'll do this all again when we have the rest of the crew on. But we've got a lot of books to cover. Are you guys liking the hunted storyline? I think it's actually kind of cool. I'm digging it a lot. What would you like to ask me while you've got me online? I am not distracted by any other members of the podcast. They aren't here yet. I said 9 o'clock. I hit start right at 9 o'clock. Where is the rest of them? And there's Mike. Mike, what's up, sir?
Oh, hey, how you doing? We're already live, too. That's interesting.
Say hello to the 8 people watching us. I said 9 o'clock. I hit the button.
I got the notification thing.
There you go.
Yeah. I was trying to test it out on my, the Google chat on my cell phone thing, but it doesn't quite. But it's like, oh, I don't really have a mic kind of set up. But
did you get a new light in the room or something? You look really well lit. You're lit, sir, as the teenagers say.
Well, in Washington State, for those of you, for you 8 listeners out there who don't know how it works up here, the Northwest actually, since we're closer to the we're farther north, we actually get light longer during the summer.
Oh, so you must have you're lit by a window then, not a lamp.
Oh yeah, so I've got natural lighting, and I've got the regular lamp that's over top of my camera right now. So it's just
all that natural light is increasing our viewers. We're now up to 11 watching us. We've been on 3 minutes.
Well, it's just because I'm so handsome, and so they want.
Hey, I got here first. No, just kidding.
Right. So what's up? Well, let's see. In terms of comics wise, I'm sure some of you, have you got a chance to read Spider-Man Life Story?
I did not. We'll talk about it in the satellite. I literally just got my book, my box today.
Okay.
So I read 3 issues in the last hour.
Oh wow. So, okay. Yeah. But
Life Story I'm looking forward to. I saw I think Javi reviewed it on the front page.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I also said it was really good. Hey, JR.
Yeah, I wrote my own review of it too on my own site.
What'd you think?
And I thought it was excellent. I was really surprised
I like
how well it was.
A lot.
It is. I mean, what's going to be, and you're going to be. I won't spoil anything, but there's definitely going to be some things in there that it does start off like a regular, like if you're reading like a regular '60s kind of era Spider-Man story initially, except it's got Mark Bagley art. Right. But then things start taking radical changes like towards the end. I mean, it's just
how old would Peter Parker be in 2019 if he's 15 in 1962? I'm bad with math.
I think he's like 71. He'd be 71.
Oh my gosh! Will he still be wearing the suit at 71?
I have no idea.
That would be interesting.
If you've seen covers for this, upcoming covers for this thing, especially the one that's supposed to be set in the 1990s, he's definitely shows him putting on a little bit of a paunch. like when he's cleaning on the building, like he's kind of got the Uncle Ben build going.
Oh,
on.
he gained some weight. I see. It's like
gained some
it's
weight.
like JR if he was fighting crime.
Yeah.
Actually, it's like JR in middle age right now.
JR, have you read Spider-Man Life Story by Zdarsky?
I read it.
What'd you think?
Well, it's okay, I guess. I mean, it's another attempt to take money from people, which I'm not.
Yeah,
That's the business Marvel's in. That's
Which
the
I'm not
business
quite-
everybody's in, actually, JR.
which I'm not cooperating with. But Mike is right. I mean, it goes off in some interesting directions, and actually, to be honest, it actually goes off in some logical directions.
Yeah, very much so.
I saw that Norman's in it. I have not read it yet because I just got my box today. I wanted to read these ASMs before.
Well, I was going to ignore it, and then Spidey dude sent me a text that said, "Hey, Norman's in it," and I said, "Well, I gotta,
read it.
I gotta check it out."
Gotta go read it.
But,
hey, here comes Ashley.
Wait a minute, where is Spidey dude? Isn't he here with us?
I don't know. Hey, Ashley.
He's supposed to be. I thought he was supposed to be showing up. I know George can't make it because he's been having.
Hey, Jack. What's up, Jack?
Hey.
Hey, there's the snowball.
These are better than that camera.
Well, yeah, the camera's better, but
It's a lot smoother.
I'm working on my Chromebook tonight because my laptop keeps freezing up.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
You mean the laptop that has a giant fan in it?
Yes, that one. The soundtrack
So,
of the crawl
the
space.
one that so the one you're going to have to get like a new cooling system for, and
Yeah.
probably like one of those liquid coolers.
Oh, no, I think that's just a whole new computer at that point. This was my old college laptop. It's not worth saving.
Right, Ryan's
yeah.
in the chat. He says, "Nice snowball." Ooh,
Mhm.
hold up your mug, Ashley. Look at that Spidey mug you've got.
Yes, check it
Look at
out.
that.
Mine.
Jack's
It's yours?
letting me borrow it.
No, Jack, you're married, dude. It's ours.
Well,
I never let my spouse attend any of
It
these.
was
podcasts.
actually a gift to Jack from my mother.
Actually,
So
it's half yours.
what's mine is mine. What's his is mine.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, she's thinking good. She's
Mhm.
falling into marriage quite well, isn't she, JR?
Oh yeah.
I was about to say his soul will be next.
Next.
No, she's already had it.
I was about to say that she's moving quickly now. Then
That's funny.
Hey, I had 12 years to do it.
Anthony says, "Nice mug." I tell you what, the viewers love your props.
That's what I'm here for.
Look at that. Hornacek says Jack doesn't even get a chair for this episode.
Well, no, he could just stand and pose like
It's not my shoulder.
all heroically in the background.
Oh God! Please don't try it.
That's funny.
This isn't
Uh,
a film.
So George had internet problems. His internet is down, so George won't be joining us. Everybody.
Oh, hope he
Zach
corrects it on
is
Monday.
10 minutes late at the moment. Let me text him, see where he is.
I'm thinking.
Let's see.
Where's Bogey? Okay.
Zach Joyner, are you coming?
Excuse me,
we're-
folks, as I
Live.
zoom up in here for a second because I want to see what the chat are saying, folks.
No, Enigma, no Jorge again. Yeah, Jorge is lacking internet. I think you misspelled George.
Which has really cut into our online tabletop games, by the way, because he's
Oh,
been
yeah.
having.
Aw.
Well, yeah, no, but no,
Yeah, I know George isn't here. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
he
no,
wasn't
he
here
did-
last month either, was he? Come think of it.
Well, no, because he had some. Because what happened was
Had
he
some
had
family
some kind
thing,
of
yeah.
family issues staying. He was
Yeah.
up. He was kind of delayed up there for about 6 weeks or something.
Oh,
but, you know,
wow.
yeah, so I have no. He probably can obviously better relate what's going on there than I can. But,
Oh, I had a couple iTunes reviews I wanted to read. Where did I put
Okay.
that one? Canada review. I got one from Canada, and I have one from the United States. Let me pull up the
Mhm.
United States one.
Oh, giving preferential treatment.
All right. You 17 viewers. Zach has texted back. He says, yes, I'm running behind, waiting for my check at the restaurant. So I don't think Zach. You know what? I think I'm going to read the iTunes reviews on the next show because one of them is directed at Zach. So
Mhm.
I'll read it at the very top of the Of the Spider News show.
Oh, okay.
What issue did? Let me look who has what issues. Let me pull up the rundown.
Okay. I've got 17. Ashley, I know what you've got.
Oh, we all know what I've got.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, you've got the 16 who. You got the 16 who or
The
huh?
who? The who?
Is it who or huh?
It's who. It's
who.
HU. It's you.
Who? How about hoo ha?
Hoo-ha. Yeah. There's that.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's see. George, I mean, JR, I put the rundown in the message board. Where is it?
Probably
You're
should check on
asking me?
check on the
Yeah,
check on the
I
Facebook.
put it.
check
Oh, I
on the
put it in
Facebook-
admin.
on
I'm
the
not
fa-
logged into the message board. Never mind. Sorry. Hold
I
on.
can look up real quick for you.
No, I
Brad.
just
Hold
I like
on.
to have it in front of me so I know how to.
Yeah,
Found
I
it.
put it up on the message board. Where is it?
We are professional
I'm
podcasters.
not
here,
logged
folks.
in. That was the problem. I couldn't see the admin board. Okay, my
I
bad.
used to work in broadcasting, everybody.
Hey, I tell you what, the FCC's not watching tonight. I'm about to go after you. Actually, I can't. I like this to be PG-13. You and JR, you sell yourself short, sir, says Enigma. Sell them short what?
Well, just because. Well, Enigma
Okay.
had said that because of George's absence, I would have to pick up George's, the slack.
Oh,
and I
yeah,
just
yeah.
said, nobody can pick up George's slack.
Hornet-
among other things that George owns. But,
Hornacek says you have a flawless impression of me, which I don't recognize at all. Yeah, JR sounds like Yogi Bear's dad. Yes, I agree, Anthony.
hey, boo boo, let's go steal some picnic baskets.
Hey, let's go get some long boxes. Let's bag 'em up.
It's funny. It's Yogi Berra and it's all Art Carney, and Barney Rubble and Ed Norton or whatever. It's all variations of the same thing. So anyway,
That's funny.
but then you young people probably don't know who Art Carney is. So anyway,
Honeymooners to the moon, JR. What was this, JR? I would like to make a statement, says Enigma. JR said Spencer finished Spider-Man PS4 in 2 days. Dare I say he skipped a whole lot of that game? Did he skip it?
Oh. Hang on a second. We're going to find out here.
Oh, he's texting the boy.
No, he's probably got access onto his son's account.
No, JR's not that techie.
Spencer, need you to come down and defend your honor for a minute.
Oh, okay.
All right, we'll get Spencer's 2 cents in, and by the time that's done, maybe Zach will hop on.
So how many DLCs does that game have now?
3. We need to record a review for that last one. We never did.
Okay. So, but they're not coming out with. Well, what's interesting too, they already have the comic book adaptation out of that game, which I thought is kind of weird. But
I saw.
I
suspect they're gonna do more DLCs in 2019. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, I mean,
why not?
at least until they prep for whatever the sequel is or something for
Yeah,
that.
generally
game
it's in
coming out,
seasons.
because I
Isn't
mean,
it? Like you have season 1, season 2, and I think they got these first 3 were like the season 1.
Yeah, I never do
Mhm.
DLCs, but
Yeah.
I think that's the model.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be down.
Yeah.
I'd be down to pay another $20 or whatever.
is that how much each one of those costs?
No,
$20?
You bought. I think it was. You bought
Oh, it's a
three.
set. Okay.
I think it was
Yeah.
$24.99. Come think of it.
Okay, so it's like a season pass.
Season
then.
pass, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. All
Yeah.
right. Okay. Rather than having to pay like
I'm still
every
trying to beat.
installment every single time.
I'm still trying to beat God of War. So I have.
me too.
Oh, do you have God of War 2? That's awesome.
Yeah, Jack keeps telling me to play it. It's like his favorite game now. It's incredibly story driven and it's like one of the
Yeah.
best stories in a video game that we've had.
oh
Did
yeah,
Jack?
I've seen.
Did Jack beat it?
He's beaten it twice.
Oh man, I had it since
Oh,
it came online to sell, and I bought it.
Mhm.
And the teenagers at school always like, "Have you beaten it yet?" I'm like, I'm
Aw.
a 44-year-old man, and I am the slowest gamer ever. When I beat Spider-Man in 2 months, I thought that was fast.
right.
I'm not Spencer Fettinger and finish things in 2 hours.
Yeah, but yeah, the game looks fantastic. I mean, from what I've seen of plays and everything like that, it
Oh,
just
yeah.
also yeah. So
Ryan's on Splatoon 2. I don't know what that is.
I'm also playing another Insomniac game, the Spyro Reignited trilogy that they remastered the original Spyro games. Those are the
Oh,
first
wow.
games
Okay.
I
Okay.
played as a kid.
Yep.
So
Oh,
my
oh,
God,
Oh,
it's
is
no way to
Spencer
lose them.
coming down? Do I see Spencer? No Spencer.
No Spencer.
Okay.
Okay.
God of War says Triple S Entertainment. God of War was a fantastic game. Great to see what you think when you finish it. You know, I'm at the point, and I don't think this is too much of a spoiler for Ashley. The little boy just got cocky, and he found out he's a god, and that's where I am. That's where I am. And I like the game a lot. I think it's really good. And I still have some other games I need to beat, like Arkham Knight. But that's
my god,
that's a lot of
If it makes you
Batmobile.
feel better, Brad, I never beat Arkham Asylum.
You never did? Oh, that's the first one. That was great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Arkham. What was Arkham? The second Arkham.
Okay, so you got Arkham.
Arkham
Arkham
City?
City was the second one.
Arkham City.
That was
That
the one
one
you
was-
actually got to swing around in the city and
I
everything
think
like
I
this.
like that. I think that was my favorite.
The copy of Arkham Asylum that I do have for like the PC is like completely scratched up, unfortunately. So it's like, so I can't replay it if I wanted to.
Oh wow! Walter is here. TS Chimp. Jr. You remember Walter?
Yeah, he was the guy who was the school teacher who was selling drugs on the side, right?
No, that wasn't. No, Walter helped us with Little Hacker one time. Remember?
Okay.
Walter, we bow down
Walter,
to you.
I haven't heard from
Oh,
you in
that's
years,
right.
man. What's going on, buddy?
Your
I've
active
heard the
computer expertise has never been forgotten.
Oh, Walter,
I
you
have
are.
heard.
Yeah,
I am
Wal-
honored that he's on here because I've heard the legends of Walter.
the Legends of Walter,
frequently-
indeed.
frequently on
Hornacek,
this
yes,
podcast.
I did finish the. No, there's 256 levels of Ms. Pac-Man Hornacek. I've not beaten that.
250. Really? That's how many there are.
Well, that's
I
what
don't think I've ever
happened.
gotten that.
Well, maybe it's
I never-
maybe it's the first Pac-Man, but you have if you go 256 times, the game crashes and reboots.
Really?
Yeah.
I have never even
Yeah.
played it been able to play it long enough or even put enough cores to even
I can't
attempt
get
something like that.
256 levels in the Pac-Man. Oh,
No.
Spencer's in the house. Oh, buddy, Spencer, what's up, man? What you bringing a DC shirt to a Marvel podcast? What are you doing?
Oh man, I'm sorry, man.
So-
Promoting Shazam. There we
So-
go.
so-
there we go, man.
Let me scroll up to the question aimed right at you.
Yeah. All right.
Let's see. Let's see. Okay, Enigma says, I would like to make a statement. JR said that Spencer finished Spider-Man in 2 days on the PS4. Dare I say he skipped a whole lot of that game? Did you skip a lot? Well, how'd you beat it in 2 days?
I got it on Christmas Eve because we do you can open one gift on Christmas Eve.
Okay.
And I played it, started playing it at 10 or something since I had to install for an hour.
Mhm.
And then I pulled an all-nighter, just kept playing it, and beat the story, and then I'm going 100%. And then I did. And I did the DLC and everything like that. Yeah.
So you beat it you beat in 1 day and then the DLCs in 1 day?
Yeah.
How many hours again straight?
Oh, God.
Well, there's 24 hours in a day.
It's 24 hours in a day, and then there's the every day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 48, straight.
Like you
Oh my
didn't
God.
sleep for 2
No,
days?
I did. I crashed at 3 a.m. Woke up around 8 or something. I'm
gosh.
like, all right. And
The
I
goofy-
completed it on Ultimate.
The goofy. You played it on an ultimate when you were doing this?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, new game plus too. All right, I'm going to finish the story, and then I
Oh
did
my
it again on
How
Ultimate.
many? So here's the other
Wow.
question: How much Red Bull did you drink in order to accomplish this?
I
thing?
didn't drink any. I didn't drink
Oh,
any.
God.
I was dedicated. I'm like, I'm doing it.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh!
Well, you must have liked the game. I mean, what'd you
Oh,
think
yeah.
of it?
I thought it was great.
What's your
came
favorite
with
parts?
Favorite part is probably when probably when you meet Miles after defending him from thugs, and he Miles punches Spider-Man after he learns how to fight a little bit. I thought
Right.
that moment was pretty
Hornacek
sweet.
says the DLCs in 1 day is doable since each one's about 2 hours.
Mhm.
Walter says to be young again.
Yeah.
And Enigma says, Spencer, you are not human.
I'm really not.
Now, did your dad give you some Osborne chemicals in there to make you a green goblin player? Like you have some what's the steroid that Osborne has? I forget.
Globulin green, I believe. It's according to
Globulin green, that's right.
Globulin
Globulin.
green. Okay.
Yeah.
Globulin
Maybe he
green.
had some globulin green. Was there a part in the game that held you up that you got stuck on?
Probably like during the DLC where the guys with miniguns came in.
The second
Like,
chapter, me
waves.
too.
Yeah.
They
think
were
that's the-
almost invincible.
Yeah.
That killed me so many times.
Oh yeah. And then I just used a spider bro and electric webs, and that took care of them.
Refresh me what Spider Bro was. I forget.
Spider bro is the like assist move that you can use, and it's like Spider-Man's little drone from Spider-Man Homecoming. And
Oh,
you can
yeah,
use
yeah,
it
yeah.
and like
That's
shoots
right.
everyone.
Hornacek wants to know about the pigeons.
Oh yeah, I got all the pigeons.
The pigeons sucked. I hated that.
Oh yeah.
All the extra screwball missions were like
Oh,
what
and Screwball too.
Yeah,
What do you think of
for a
Screwball?
while.
I hated Screwball.
Oh,
I
everybody.
felt,
hated
especially when the DLCs where she kept coming back. I'm like, okay,
Yes.
this
Yeah.
is annoying.
Like no one asked for more of this.
Yeah, like by the third time, you're like
Literally
Spider-Man's
anything but
annoyed.
this.
Yeah.
Well, they've got to give you an excuse to go skipping around the city and shoot landmarks and all.
There's
that
so many
stuff.
other
It's-
excuses to give.
like taking photos.
right?
Mhm.
All right. Well, if we don't have any more questions for Spencer, let's get this show started. Let's get in the elder statesman, if you don't mind. Spencer,
Mhm.
where's
yeah,
your dad?
He ran off. I'll go get him.
Okay.
He ran off. Maybe he does. Maybe he.
Good to see
Well,
you,
maybe
buddy.
he's not looking
Good to see
forward.
you.
Maybe he's not
See
looking
ya.
forward to his assignment here, Brad.
Here comes the old man.
Yeah.
Why, Spencer? You've aged 75 years.
That's my boy.
Well, the YouTubers are like, did you feed the boy some Oscorn or some Goblin? What is it, Goblin Goop? To give him super
Globulin green.
Goblin Green to make the boy a superhero gamer in 2 days? They couldn't believe it.
He's just got good genetics, I'm telling you. Except, unfortunately, some genetics I hope he doesn't get is the expanding waistline. That's doing a
Well,
number on me lately.
Hornacek wonders if JR took some de-aging drink. You suddenly got older.
Older and fatter, trust me. Hey, it will happen to you.
Yeah, no doubt.
No. Wait a minute, folks. Considering what we're going to be talking about, maybe JR cloned himself, and it just and he just
maybe
grew up
there's
to a young.
57 JR there.
So-
Just,
and Spencer is just the last one left alive.
yeah, Spencer's the last one
Spencer
standing.
killed all the other Fettingers, and he's the
Yeah.
last one.
Yeah, I had them all face off in a video game showdown, and he's the one who won.
Ryan says, "Damn you, high evolutionary."
Yeah.
And Walter, how old are you, Walter? Because at least,
Walter's about your age, I think. I think Walter's in his 50s. I could be wrong.
well, do you still have your hair, Walter? I mean, gee whiz. I was about to say color becomes academic as long as you still got it. So,
Hey,
and as long as you still have other things.
still got a lot of fire in the this analogy sucks already. I'm sorry. Just because there's no snow on the chimney doesn't mean there's not a fire in the belly. Is that what the analogy is? I don't know.
Aw.
Walter is 50 and he's no shaved. Well, we didn't need to know about your manscaping, Walter.
Ooh, wow.
Man,
Wow,
jeez.
Walter.
Hey, loud and proud.
Oh, man.
Oh my gosh, this took
I'm
a
glad-
left turn.
I'm glad Spencer left before that happened. Holy
Mhm.
cow.
Hey,
not
it's
supposed
Shaq
to know about-
Spidey. What's up, dude? What's up?
Hey, Chi-Town. Yep.
Chi-Town, would you like in on the show?
Yeah, Chi-Town was hanging out with celebs, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, he's having was a great
Oh,
grand old
Walter,
time from what I saw.
that's now between you, me, and the internet, sir. Let's see. Chi-Town George canceled a little bit ago. Would you like in on the show? Is my question to Chi-Town.
Mm-hmm.
And Zach is MIA. He's waiting on his check.
Oh.
Last time he was drinking he was hitting on a waitress or something. I forget. when
Yeah,
he
that was
late.
interesting.
Yeah, that
Well,
was.
no, it was the father son kind of
Oh, yeah, the father, the single
father was
dad.
acting as the father was acting as his wingman apparently.
I think they were both wingmen. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay,
pretty- yeah.
Chi-Town. Here, let me give you the link. 1 second.
Oh yeah, he's. Yeah.
Hey, who all sing Captain Marvel?
I have.
I haven't actually.
Oh,
I
man.
have.
it's almost
Really?
$1
I
billion,
mean-
isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Something
near.
like
It's
that.
900 mil. Last I saw.
God.
Yeah, I'm kind of been slacking off on a little bit something. I mean, I just now saw not too long ago Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse on
Oh, what'd you
DVD.
think?
So
Dude, that's
I thought it
out
was
on
great.
Blu-ray.
Mhm.
I thought it was
JR?
really good.
You get to that one yet? Spider
What
Verse.
one? Yes, I had to watch it. I
Oh,
had
here
to buy
we
it.
go. Let's hear it.
The family had to have a movie night. Rachel came down or whatever, and I had to
Mhm.
buy Spider-Verse.
Let
I
me
was
hear.
for-
I want to. Okay, this is for the YouTube exclusive. Before we start the podcast, I want to hear a grade out of JR on Spider Verse.
Mm-hmm.
Are we talking about whether or not it is a finely crafted film, or whether, or are we going to talk about what a canon violation it is, and it offends every screaming sensibility of mine as a Spider-Man fan?
I'm asking if you like the damn thing. What? Give it a grade.
There is no liking a film that basically says that I am now irrelevant, and that everything I've supported for years and the reasons why I've supported it no longer has any meaning to exist.
So you loved it.
Wow.
I view that as a spit in my face. But
Oh
it
my-
was
Wow,
a-
I did not get that from this film at all.
It was a finely crafted film, as long as you don't have epilepsy. Because if you have epilepsy, you are going straight to the emergency room after that one.
Hey, yeah.
Okay,
well,
I'll try
just-
it third time. What's your grade, JR, on the film?
Well, first of all, what did George think of it? Has George seen it?
George
I
has
don't know if
not
he
seen
has.
it. He has not seen it. No,
oh,
I give it an A minus.
I gave it an A. I'll give it an A.
I've been reading
actually.
Spider-Man for 40 years.
Yeah.
JR,
By the way,
by the
I
way,
do.
JR, can you
My,
tilt
in
your
my own
camera
little
down?
head.
JR, can
Peter
you tilt
Parker
your
is
camera
Spider-Man.
down just a little bit?
Yeah.
I got a lot
By
of
the way,
headroom.
in my
There you
own
go.
head canon, I think that broke ass Peter, or Peter B. Parker there, I think he was basically, in my head canon, I think he's supposed to be the Raimi Spider-Man all grown up.
Yeah.
He told, which would have made more sense if they actually got Tobey Maguire to actually do the voice. for it,
Hornacek
but
doesn't
I-
understand how JR got that. Well, it's his
Oh,
opinion.
that's Symbio, bro.
Oh, I'm
Symbio,
sorry.
bro.
Yeah.
Symbio, bro. Wait till you're middle-aged and old. Right? Just wait till you're old. Wait till you sit there and, to me,
Walter-
Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Peter Parker will always be Spider-Man. I don't care
Mhm.
what the mass media tries to sell me. You know, it's like, I don't care what you try to get me to believe. I'm sorry. Just, I mean, you're not going to make me change my religion. You're not going to make me go from,
Well,
I
Church
was
leaders.
religious. I'm not anymore, but you weren't 10 years ago when I was religious. You weren't going to make me go from Baptist to Catholic. Okay. Or anything like that.
so it seems like JR has the same complaint I do, but at a much, much bigger expense. Because
Mhm.
my complaint was my Spider-Man wasn't in that film. The 616 Spider-Man was not in that film. I had old, divorced Spider-Man. I had Ultimate Blonde Spider-Man. And I had
Right.
Miles Morales. And I had Spider-Ham.
You had 60 Spider-Man at the end.
I had 6. I didn't have the
We
Spider-Man.
had $20.99 for a bit.
We had $29.99.
Oh, I loved it.
Well, you also got to understand, Brad, because the way that Sony Marvel contract thing works, they can't actually have a Spider-Man in their Spider-Man universe, so they have to come up with a version of him in their
Old
animated
ass
films.
Spider-Man. Yes,
Yeah.
Chucky's at B76. JR and Brad do have on the same shirt, the Crawl Space shirt. Look at this.
Yep.
Oh, Symbio, you make a good point. He does have web shooters. I forgot about that. But yeah, good call.
Anyway, what's your grade for the 4th time? What's your grade, JR? I'm getting a grade out of you. This is the teacher in me. What do you got?
B plus.
Oh,
Excuse me? Excuse me?
B plus.
Did you say
he said
B? B or
He said
D?
B plus. He said B.
B
He said B
plus.
plus.
B plus.
B as in Brad?
B
Yeah. He
is
said
in
B plus.
boondoggle. B is in board. B is
Or
He
in
is
Brad?
judging.
B?
Yeah.
After all that, you gave it a B?
It was a finely crafted film. Although,
It ought to
Be
be.
a horrible film critic. This thing was blah, 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 blah. That's all right. It's B.
look,
No, Enigma. He said B, not D as in
I said
dog.
B.
B as in Brad.
He said
Hey,
B
man,
plus.
JR is like
He
a
said B
child
plus.
who's complaining about what he's being fed, except that he's being fed delicious ice cream and he's just a spoiled brat. Okay, right after Tyson, you're on my list.
By the way, that's Mike Murdoch, Matt's old brother from San Francisco.
You
Right
mean the
after
fictional
Tyson.
brother from San Francisco, right? 'Cause wasn't
Now,
Oh my
wait,
God,
has
that's
it ever,
funny.
Has it ever been established that Kingpin is Italian? So why was Kingpin talking like an Italian mobster? You
'Cause
know,
he's from
why
New
did he have
York.
the accent?
Stylizing.
Wow, that's hysterical.
I think he was definitely made of the Stay Puft. I think he was probably the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, like shrunk down to like a
Marshall
convenient
Man.
size. Because, dude,
But I also got to give props for the kids love John Mulaney. I mean,
Mhm.
Oh yeah, Spider Ham.
and yeah, the kid, both my daughter and son just love John Mulaney, and we were watching the DVD. And Spencer, for however he didn't know this, I don't know, because Spencer for some reason seems to know everything, but he gets it from his father. But apparently he didn't realize the Spider-Ham special cartoon was with the DVD or the
Yeah.
Blu-ray.
yeah.
I got it
And-
this week.
And so, like, when that came on, I didn't see it, but his mother said his face just went, you know. I mean,
Mhm.
just he was thrilled. He
Well,
I got to admit, I mean, voiced by John Mulaney, Spider. I never really cared for Spider-Ham, but I've watched John Mulaney's stuff. I mean, he is funny, and it was perfect casting.
So since you're seeing all these Spider films without me and not telling me you're going to see them, JR, have you seen Venom?
No.
Okay.
No, I only saw Spider-Verse because I was minding my own business. I was home. Rachel came home Sunday or whatever, you know. I mean, and so, like, we try to treasure our time with Rachel because she's grown up, blah blah blah, and she's got and she's got a boyfriend,
Yeah.
you know. And
Hey,
and
Peter, what's up, man?
Hey guys.
spends her time with her boyfriend, and they said we had to. They said we had to, you know, let's watch a movie. My wife says, JR, go buy Spider-Verse. I said, I don't want to go buy Spider-Verse. She tells me to go buy Spider-Verse, or, you know, and I figure, well, just to keep peace in the household, I'll buy it and watch it. So I did, you know.
I don't know. Hold on,
Chi-Town.
Peter,
Hi,
I don't know
JR.
if you've been listening. What do you think JR would give Spider-Verse as a grade? What is your guess?
Come on, dude.
No. Tell me what you think what grade do you think he would give?
Oh, well, let's see. Well, he hasn't been liking the Nick Spencer run. I don't know why. So I'm going to say you're going to give it a C, JR.
Oh, he gave it a B plus. I'm shocked. Shocked. I'm shocked.
I was about to say, Chi-Town, you got to see Humberto Ramos at least, because, well, not that I will go see Humberto, but Humberto has banned, you know, Ohio from his list because the state, you know, went Republican or whatever. So, you know, I know he doesn't attend conventions in Ohio. Although if he actually did any research, he'd realize that Cleveland is a staunchly Democratic county that has had an African-American mayor on his fourth term. But why quibble over details? Huh? Why quibble over details when you're being a zealot? So anyway.
But
Wow.
JR digresses.
I digress. All right, we ready? Let's get this
Yep.
show on the road. All right.
I'm ready to go.
All right.
folks.
YouTubers, we're coming down in 3, 2. Hey, Crawl Spacers, welcome to our review show. Let's introduce the panel. We've got Mike. What's going on, Mike?
Well, right now I'm nursing a bruised small toe, and I don't want to show it on YouTube because
Please
you don't want to get. Oh no, absolutely not.
How'd you hurt your toe?
I'm stumbling around the dark and hit the vacuum cleaner.
Oh, that sucks.
I'll do it.
Sorry.
If it makes you feel better, Mike.
Luckily I can still walk on it. So it's good.
Okay. What Ashley?
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry.
just bruised, but
If it makes you feel better, Mike, Jack sprained his toe tripping over a cord 3 weeks before our wedding.
oh yeah.
And
Man.
he didn't even trip on a cord. He just tripped over his own foot.
Oh,
Well, that happens too for us guys.
he has
Yeah.
fallen in love with you, Ashley. How about that? There you go. He fell in love with you, literally and
He
figuratively.
did.
There you go.
And he's falling every
There
day.
you go. That other voice is Ashley. You heard it. What's going on, Ashley? How are you?
We're doing great. Speaking of the wedding, we're actually planning our honeymoon in the next couple of months. So that's really exciting.
Nice. That's fun. I'd ask you where you're going, but you don't want everybody to show up and say, "Hey, aren't you Ashley from the show?" You don't want that. Yeah, you don't want that. We also have JR. What's going on, JR?
Well, I'm nursing a bruised ego because you made me talk about Spider-Verse when I didn't want to.
For those audio listeners on the podcast, we just discovered that JR saw Spider-Verse. We had no idea. He protested. His wife said, "Go get the film." And he went, I sounded like Tom Hardy's Venom there I'm sorry. But he went out and got the film. He went over and how many things he didn't like. And I asked him, what was your final grade? And you said
B+.
B as in Brad plus. I was shocked he gave that high.
It was a finely crafted film.
What's your favorite part?
Favorite part?
Yeah.
I don't remember having a favorite part. I don't know. I don't know. Probably Nick Cage trying to figure out the Rubik's Cube. I don't know. You know,
it had your least favorite Hulk goblin in it.
Yeah, but he got killed off and he didn't last very long. So
that's true. That's good. And we also have Peter Chi-Town Spidey. What's going on, sir?
Not much, guys.
Thanks for coming on. You just came back from C2E2. Got to talk to Nick Spencer and Humberto and Ryan Otley.
Yes, I did. And the podcast for this week at Marvel is the Hunted panel. So be sure to check out that, and you'll hear my voice trying to defend Stegron against the White Rabbit. It did not work out. George would be disappointed and rolling all over the place. But
is that online?
But Stegron's got a tail. But Stegron's got a tail. He can't. How can you lose?
Mike,
to
I made that point.
Exactly. You tried to fail. If you can put that on the front page, let's hear you. I'll help you if you want. We can put the podcast on the front page, and we can hear you defend Stegron for the masses.
This week at Marvel.
Well, I guess though Stegron is just no Sauron, is he?
Wow. The person who loves Stegron the most can't be on the show. His internet's out, so George won't be able to join us. And Zach is now 37 minutes late to the podcast. So
where's our beloved clone?
Zach is paying for a check and getting a few numbers, so he can't join us. So, all right. So we've got 4 issues we're going to tackle. We have number 6, ASM 817. We have ASM 16. Who? How do you say it? Who?
Yeah, like Johnny Bravo.
And we have,
or technically Black Cat Zero, actually, but that's
Black Cat Zero. We have ASM 818 with a good-looking cover. I like that one line. Yeah. And we have ASM 819 with a not-so-attractive cover. Right. All right, the very first one, 817 ASM is JR. So take us through that, sir.
Well, I'll have you know, boys and girls, that I'm just picking up George's slack because I wasn't originally supposed to do this. So I'm minding my own business. I'm preparing for my relatively light load. And then I get this text from Brad, explaining the situation, and that's why I do it. So, folks, this is what you're getting right off the cuff. So
you mean you didn't prepare? What else is new?
I did prepare, but the thing is, I had to sacrifice time spent for preparation for news items. So anyway,
that's true.
So you're going to get a watered down distilled JR all throughout the show.
Don't sell it short off the top. You always bring it.
All right. Okay, boys and girls. We flash back to several issues ago, which one I forget because I don't buy these anymore. I just read them. We're in Darkest Africa. Kraven the Hunter, who thinks Africa belongs to him, even though he's actually from Russia, has gotten the drop on some washed up middle-aged white dude from the U.S. Okay. Anyway, the middle-aged washed-up old white dude is poaching game because he thinks it's cool to kill some big, harmless, slowly moving animal and take a selfie to put on his Instagram. Like the kind you see all the time. Anyway, because this is cool, young, hip Marvel, we don't have any reference boxes to prior issues because that is just so George Barrowman. So they don't use them anymore. So I don't know what issue we first saw that in. But anyway, so Kraven has just killed the middle-aged dude's guide. And we think that Kraven's going to 86 this guy for violating the sanctity of the juggle.
The
That's-
juggle.
Craven did not, Craven did not,
Jungle.
The
Craven
juggle.
did not go to the strip bar. Okay.
One's got an N and
Chuck.
one's got no.
Well, here we are, several issues later.
Welcome to the jungle.
And it turns out Craven isn't going to kill him, but he's going to make him an offer he can't refuse. Craven says, I know that you're just some saggy old white dude who's got 7 more years until he can retire from his white collar job, and he doesn't know how he's going to make it without blowing his brains out, which I can give you some advice on, by the way. But no, he understands that this saggy old white guy has his ancestral blood boils within him to kill things and put pictures on Instagram. So Craven's not going to kill him. He's going to make him a hunter. Okay. So now we come to the present, and Craven is reciting some history here. See, he died in an overrated and overwrought J.M. DeMatteis story back in the late 80s.
No, it's not overrated.
Oh,
And he
here we
was-
go.
And he was doing just fine, just doing just fine, decomposing and feeding the worms until Joe Quesada decided to foist one more day on the entire universe and not only undo Spider-Man's marriage, but also create this wife and daughter that no one had ever heard of,
Mhm.
before, Sasha and Skittles, the Penny Hooker, is what we called him. A nod to Crazy Chris there, the late Crazy
Hey,
Chris.
you need a little editor's box. That reference happened in podcast number.
You're right.
Because
Yeah,
that was
that's so
that
fair.
right
I
now.
mean,
That was Crazy Chris thought of that one back in the day.
Anyway, so Sasha and Skittles the Penny Hooker used dark magic and human sacrifice, which killed off Madam Web and Maddie Franklin, no great loss, by the way, to bring Craven back from the dead. All right. So Craven and family then picked up their luggage and they moved to the Savage Land, where Craven said he planned to start a new family. Well, his wife started nagging him like she did before, which is the reason that he went overseas to start hunting Spider-Man, because he to get away from her. But this time he took the easy way out and he just killed her. All right. And then he decided to put his diabolical plan in place. Okay. So then he started killing off all the high evolutionaries, Animen. That's stupid name. All right, to get the high evolutionaries' attention. And then finally, the high evolutionary come out and said, look, I've been busy rewriting Professor Miles Warren's diaries and trying to make the stupid-ass Clone Saga make some sense. And I haven't had time to come out and talk to you, okay? So stop killing all these loser creations of mine and tell me what you want, what you really, really want. All right?
Oh my God! You just did the Spice Girls. Ah!
Yes.
Ah!
So what Craven did, Craven asked for 87 clones of himself and 99 red balloons. All right.
We want the references.
And for the high evolutionary to give them the speeded up Gwen Stacy growth treatment. All right.
Yep.
Now his daughter, Skittles the Penny Hooker, thought this was a lame idea, and so she denounced him and left because
Wasn't
this
that calling the which is calling the kettle black, by the way? Actually, if you
Oh
think
my
about it.
God!
anyway. So she
Close
denounced.
99 red balloons.
JR, this
she
is
denounced-
washed down.
She denounced.
Says
She
we need.
denounced-
Wait a minute, Jr. Hornacek says we need more Jr. reviews where he's unprepared like this one.
Well, I've got a fever and it needs more cowbell, but anyway, so anyway, so the daughter, Skittles the Penny Hooker, thought this was a lame idea and she denounced Craven and left. Okay. Now, partly the reason she left is because this run of Amazing Spider-Man is Nick Spencer's apology tour, and it seems like he's trying to fix all the crap that came after One More Day, as well as beg forgiveness for the Secret Wars or Secret Empire suckfest. But no one's going to miss Skittles, so that's just fine. Anyway. Okay, well, initially, Craven realized that this was a horrible idea, at least through the toddler stage, because I don't know that he realized how horrible potty training 87 little boys was going to be. I mean, you can't dig enough holes in Africa to hide all that shit.
Well, we see the state Africa's in later. Maybe that had something to do with it.
Well,
Well,
technically,
yeah.
he's
Well,
in
you
the
would thought it would-
technically he's in the Savage Land, JR. So they're probably gonna have enough room there
Oh.
for all the
Are
little
they in
porta
the Savage-
potties.
Are they in the Savage Land or back in
Yeah,
Africa?
they're in the Savage Land.
Because
The high evolutionaries there. That's where he
Oh,
was.
that's right. Well, because I was
Yeah.
thinking he was. The thing is,
The
though, he's an
reference still
African.
works. You can't dig enough holes in the Savage Land
Yeah.
for that much crap.
Well, hey, Antarctica's pretty big. big guys. I mean,
That
you got
could be
plenty of room.
That could explain why it's warming up and falling apart. You know, all that.
Yeah, right.
Ryan Reed says
Yeah,
he
all
has
that
to go, and
the
he says
least of all
JR is beautiful.
all that all that methane gas then is probably what's causing Antarctica to warm up then. Anyway, fortunately, the boys aged out of that stage fairly quickly. And so Craven taught them to hunt and kill and sent them to the ends of the earth where they started hunting and killing creatures because although it's wrong for other white people to go around killing creatures, it's just fine for Craven and his sons. All right. Well, fortunately, the entire world didn't notice 87 mini-me's waging slaughter all over the globe. And the time came back for Craven to throw this big-ass party and welcome them all home. But only one came back. You know, and he came back with a bag full of the skulls of his brothers. So Craven fell on his knees, called him an abomination, a beast. And then when he could no longer hide it, he said, I love you, man. You know,
Boy,
you're a psychotic little bastard just like me. So let's celebrate by getting completely wasted. All right, but then the son goes, no, we can't do that. I've got to kill the man who's brought you pain for all these many years, and then once I kill Spider-Man, I can inherit your kingdom, you know. And I think he's though in Africa for. Well, I thought he was in Africa.
Yeah,
he
did. Yeah, Craven went back to Africa, and then the son, and then his last surviving quote son came back. Yeah. Okay. And then the son goes, no. Well, we can't do that. I've got to kill Spider-Man so I can inherit your kingdom. And Craven goes, kingdom, son, come here. Let me show you something. All right. Look at this. When I was your age, this place was wild and majestic, just like Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. But now with the climate eroded, see that reference to climate change I just made, son? Craven the hunter is nothing if not woke. All right. Now, but as you can see, the climate has eroded, and now I can see that this is really a shithole country, just like said. And all of these fat, lazy white people keep coming from the United States to kill the animals, you know, when only white people like myself from Russia should be allowed to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to pack up our... Spidey News here!
boys, speaking of loud elephants in china shops.
What an
Man,
Hey,
what an
everybody.
entrance.
Hi, Zach. JR, are you okay?
You usually drop the mic when you're done saying something, not when you come in.
Nearly gave JR a heart attack.
No doubt, the old man. I'm not giving him the mouth to him.
Oh. So anyway, Craven says, so we're going to pick
I
the
always like to make an entrance, guys. Sorry.
You're only 47 minutes late. What's that between friends?
I am fashionably late.
All right, we don't want to interrupt JR's review. Go ahead, JR.
So we're gonna. Okay, so Craven says, no. I mean, this place is a shithole. So we're gonna move. We're gonna move from here. We're gonna pack up our shit. We're gonna move to New York and get an deluxe apartment in the sky. Okay. So now we're finally in the present, and it's some big party that Craven is throwing, and he brought in his killer kid, and Arcade is on stage doing the warm up, and out comes Craven, and then we see Bob, the guy, the old fat guy from earlier, who Craven was recruiting, and all of these poachers to participate in one, glorious hunt. You know, that's what he's here for. He says, Craven goes, I know that you're all hunters. Y'all crave the thirst of the hunting blood and killing shit and stuff. And so we're going to have one big hunt, and we're going to hunt all these animal-based supervillains that my cronies during the Black Bug have been capturing over the last several issues. Now, Craven's son thinks this is actually a stupid idea. And so Craven goes on a multi-page monologue that boils down to, hey, they want to dress like animals, they're going to be hunted like animals. But before you say, hey, where's Spidey? Well, I don't know. Usually this time Brad says, okay, let's stop right there and let's talk about what we did and didn't like about that story. Or do you want me to go on?
No, I want you to do the backup. The backup, too.
Okay. All right.
It's all one issue, yeah.
Well, the second part of the story. All right.
Dumbass mute.
Dumbass little lizard villain.
Oh, he can't hear us.
Zach's trying to steal my thunder. You know, he's going to come right after Tyson and Mike Murdoch for being on my list. So yeah, old man screams at comic book. Yeah, you book. Yeah, you just keep doing it, Mike Murdoch or whatever. I guess you know what it's
That
like
sounds like
being
Darth Vader.
inferior to your older brother, right? So
Shots fired. Shots fired.
well, the second part of this story is dumbass little lizard Billy Connors,
Yeah, pretty much.
Poor Billy.
who sneaks out of the sewers so he can go to some dumbass teenage party. All right. Because little lizard Billy has been whining for issues about wanting to get out of the sewers and go to the party, and go party. All right.
Mhm.
Well, the lizard decides to call Peter Parker, who can get in touch with Spider-Man, to find little lizard Billy's stupid ass. But Peter is deathly sick because this overused, lazy writing trope will justify why Son of Craven can come in and kick Spider-Man's ass. All right, for this idiotic Big Hunt storyline that's going to last at least another 7 issues, not counting all the Who special issues. All right, and then Peter's feeling down about the death of Clone Ned. Like, was that really a thing? Clone Ned? Who cares? Oh, Clone Ned died. You didn't give a shit when the real Ned died. Jeez. Anyway. Well,
I think you're making shit up, JR.
He is.
I'm paraphrasing it, and I'm also trying to make it interesting. Okay. So, anyway, stupid little lizard Billy tries to get into the swing club.
Poor Billy.
Needless to say, he kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. He freaks everybody the hell out, and then he runs away into Times Square, and Taskmaster and Black Bug capture him. And Spider-Man arrives too late to save him, but then a flying spider tracer with a message from Felicia comes. Okay, now what is this flying spider tracer? Well, we don't know what it is because you got to buy the next friggin' issue to find out.
It'll cost you $4 to find that out.
Aw.
So
Yeah.
anyway, message from Felicia says, I did something stupid. I got myself captured. And by the way, there's this little stupid ass little lizard boy here too. You better go come and save us. And boys and girls, that is the
Oh
end of the
my
issue.
God.
What is this part 1 of Hunted? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is
817.
well, the prologue, actually.
817. Okay. JR, let me guess B plus.
No, I gave this a C. This is who the hell. And why does Craven look like Jonah Jameson half the time? Really? I mean, why does he look like he does? I mean, the face.
I was going to say he looked like Freddie Mercury, but yeah, but yeah, because that's how Otley kind of draws anybody with like must. Oh, that's how Brian Otley draws people with mustaches, single mustaches like that.
Hornetsex says, based on your Spider-Verse grade, he thought this was going to be an A.
I used to like you, Hornacek.
All right, we're going around the horn. Peter, what's your grade on this one?
A B plus.
B plus. Ashley.
I'm trying to remember. Was this the one with the really awkward art where NJ's shorts looked like they came halfway down her crack?
Yep, that would be the one.
Let me go reference.
Yeah, okay, so that's I would say it'd be an A for me, but that brings it down to a B plus because oh my God, women's anatomy, come on.
Yeah, right.
No one wears shorts like that.
Well, they did in the 80s, but it's like.
Why, yes, that is poor art.
Okay, counterpoint, and I know I
No, we haven't gotten the grades yet. Zach, what's your grade?
It is an A.
Really? Okay, Mike.
I enjoyed this issue.
I will also say it's a B plus.
Okay, I'll give it a B minus because of the art in the back half. The front
back half art was pretty bad.
Front half is A minus ish. Back half kills it with that art.
Yeah,
just kills it.
That art was ugly.
That was
just especially since it's supposed to be showing Peter Parker as being sick, and it's just like, oh yeah, you're just making the readers all sick just by looking at the whole.
If I look like that, I'd be sick. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah.
All right. So, JR Pros, what did you like about your C plus issue?
I gave it a C. I didn't give it a
Oh,
plus.
C. Sorry.
What did I like about it? Nothing much, really. I mean, to be honest, the 87 clones was, I don't know. I mean, and again, it's like, who's going to raise all those kids? Who's going to feed all those kids? I was about to say, no wonder they had to move out of the Savage Line back to Africa. They probably ate the whole place up,
Well, they were eating
You've
meat.
raised the boy.
So
They eat.
They
Yeah.
were. They were eating.
Yeah.
They were showing like 9 on some meat. Probably some. It wasn't looking like beef jerky, although.
But I mean, whoever paid for this issue expecting Spider-Man, and he's only a guest star in his own magazine. And then, like you said, the art is awful. There's not much. There's no high points this issue. It was just, I felt, a flat mediocre issue.
Who gave it A's?
I did.
Okay, what's a pro out of you for that?
Clones.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, there's
no, it's not,
wait a minute. What would happen if you have 27 Bens fight 57 Cravens?
87.
Oh,
So wait a minute. This would be
87 Cravens versus what? 27 Ben Rileys?
yeah.
or
Here's the
28.
thing.
Whatever.
First of all, if Ben beat the shit out of Vladimir, so. But no, Ryan Artley is. I have said that Ryan Stegman is the best Spider-Man artist in the entire line, but Ryan Otley is the second best in my opinion. So
Yeah, he's really good.
Ryan Otley is really, really good. He reminds me a mixture of Mike Ringo and
I can see Ringo and Otley. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
and who's the other one? I just blanked. A little bit. I see a little bit of Bagley, especially in his Spider-Man.
Okay.
Mhm.
give you that.
Especially those eyes.
Yeah.
But yeah, especially with the eyes and then the way he does the little notches on the eyes. Look, the artwork in the back. You're right. It's okay. It's not my favorite part, obviously, but I think Otley's work, and this does a really good job of because Craven has been such a slow burn throughout this entire volume. And I think
Venkman, I would agree. Zach, tilt your camera down a smidge. Venkman wants it, and so do I. We have a lot of headroom. There we go. Go
all
ahead.
right, is that better?
Yeah, now we
Yeah.
can see you.
Very much. Yeah.
I think that this issue was a necessary evil.
hmm
So you needed to set up a little bit more of Craven's motivation and what Craven's plan was. I think by them slow burning it the way they did, it was a little bit of a mistake because I just felt like it was like, all right, we're gonna do all this other stuff, but we'll get to Craven eventually. And so I think this is, and I'll get to this when we get to the last issue that we're covering tonight. But I really think that this did a good job of taking the existing continuity turd that was laid by Grim Hunt, because quite frankly, in my opinion, Craven should still be dead. I've agreed on. That's one thing I agree on with Slott. It really doesn't reference much of the Kane stuff, but it doesn't have to, because the Kane. I mean, you don't have to read that Kane story between him and Craven to get that. So I really when a writer comes in and takes everything that as it is, instead of trying to force the issue. Too often with Slott, he tried to force the issue. I don't feel that way with this issue.
I would agree. I would agree with that.
Absolutely.
Any other pros? What would you like to hear?
I will say. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Mike. You first.
Okay, I was going to say that for a clone, Craven 87, or Craven's last surviving son, as you will, he's got a great design. I mean, that the way he's looking into the, that the tiger tribal tattoo thing that they kind of formed, that he's kind of formed over there.
Does he have a name?
I think he's just called the Last Son of Craven or something officially.
But
What'd you
again,
say, Ashley? What'd you say?
Oh, Craven 87.
Oh, I know that's what he said.
We'll just call him.
I'm like, I was.
I think it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be like Craven's last son or something.
But here's the thing: the culling. Look, Vladimir was the only one that was remotely interesting out of all the kids, and that was only because of JMD Mateus's work on Spectacular Spider-Man. But outside of that part of that character's history, that character has been garbage. So culling. So clearing the deck. Is not a bad thing.
killing the
Oh, no.
moms. Is the
I
little daughter dead too?
Yes.
No, she just took off.
Okay.
But-
I didn't
Okay,
even know
let
Craven
her
had
be
a
on-
daughter.
Let her be off and off.
She was in the last
Pale
hunt.
Hmm. Yeah, but I mean, but again, I mean, with the terms of this character, I mean, I like the look of the design here. I like the fact that he's
Oh,
kind of like
Grim-
almost,
Grim Hunt.
I just like the fact that he's a little bit more kind of like in a more kind of like almost like it's kind of like his dad in his prime thing, and
Speaking
it
of
really
dad,
says a
my dad just
lot.
made a cameo.
Yeah,
I don't know if you
and
can hear me.
it really says a lot about Craven's mindset that he feels that his true successor is literally himself. That he's basically kind of just essentially the kind of cloned basically him because that's who his son quote unquote is. It's just
But it
him.
makes
It's
sense
just
because his
absolutely.
actual sons have been such failures.
Right, yeah.
Well,
And I think
spring off what you're. Spring off what you're saying, Mike.
mhm.
The narcissism is just so well developed. I think.
Yeah.
In
Oh, yeah.
Craven's,
Yes.
and his motivation.
Oh
here,
yeah,
like
I mean,
what
this-
JR was saying.
yeah,
You know, the
this guy-
white Russian man being like, "Oh, look at all these other white people
Right.
hunting here."
Yeah, just
Yeah.
Craven is a narcissist. Very,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
very
it's-
true to
it's-
his character. Yes.
It
Yeah.
it just shows that this is a guy who is basically, and I really liked also the characterization. This is a guy who's, if you looked at Craven's Last Hunt, is kind of like he wants to be his kind of like the quintessential middle-age crisis on that he's going through. This is also kind of a continuation of that. Is a guy who's obsessed with passing on his name and passing
Legacy,
on
yes.
his legacy and like I want my name to be remembered. It shows that this is a kind of like, I mean, Craven's always kind of been this kind of like almost like a, I would say kind of an extreme take on the great white hunter essential trope. And I like the fact that this is kind of seems like a continuation of that, even though I agree that with Zach that Craven should have stayed dead. I think that the way Spencer characterized him, and especially the way he threw this whole process of like grooming his sons and everything, or quote unquote sons, it was really terrific characterization. It says a lot about that he really understands who this character is and stuff. And
If I may,
that was a really strong pair for us.
Go ahead.
If I may jump in, I mean, the fact that nothing has been done with Craven for the last 6 or 7 years, it is refreshing to see a writer come in and take a character that really, it's like they brought him, they literally brought him back for the shock value and then did absolutely zero with him.
Oh no, they did because they couldn't figure, because partly because Dan Slott didn't want to touch the guy for justifiable reasons, and it's just like, well, yeah, and because after Craven's Last Hunt, where do you exactly go from there? I mean, really. So
I think this is Spencer's choice. I think whereas Slott wanted Doc Ock to be like his guy when he did the villain, Spencer wants Craven. So you're going to see a lot more Craven in it. Is this the first issue when Ryan Ottley came back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how refreshing was that? I really enjoyed that.
I like it.
Yeah.
And
Let's move on to cons so we get speed up the pace a little bit more. Cons, JR, big cons out of you.
I don't like Craven that well. I don't like I always feel that every time he's on, it's a version of the Most Dangerous Game, and that's what this is. It's just louder, more villains, more everything else. So I mean, it's just like I said, it's just a retread.
Cons out of me, they miscolored Stegron. He's gray.
Oh, he's gray.
He's not orange. What in the
That's
hell?
true.
Why?
That is true.
What's a guess? Why would Stegron be gray?
Because he's all locked up. He's sad.
He's sad.
He
gray.
drank.
Stegron
He was.
sucks.
The sun's not shining on Stegron right now.
Well, he drank something bad, and he's kind of recovering.
he's ill.
You know, I
Or
was
maybe
expecting
colors the
Merriman to
source
be
of
here
his
to.
strength.
I was expecting
Well, yeah,
Merriman to
the
be
t-
here, but he decided that he couldn't come.
Zach, I was expecting you to be here too.
I
Hey,
will
you
say
can blame
though,
the
even though
restaurant. It's the restaurant's fault.
I will say though, even though JR was kind of poking fun of how stupid Billy Connors was. Yeah, he kind of
Kinda?
was. That was kind of the thing. Yeah,
he was kind of dumb. Yeah.
How
Yeah,
old
I mean,
is
it's like-
Billy Connors supposed to be? I was on the
like
He-
12.
He's fluctuated over 50 years. He's a little
Yeah, it's
7-year-old boy. In the 80s, he was a teenager.
Even in the 90s, he was a teenager up until like.
And then he de-aged to like 7 or 8 again. Now he's a teenager again.
Well,
Like,
is he
no,
like
'cause he's like-
13 or
'cause he's like
18? 'Cause,
13.
all
Yeah,
his
he's at
friends
least
in the
13.
nightclub, I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's
thought
like,
they were like
dude.
middle schoolers. What are they doing hanging out at the nightclub?
Well, the girl that apparently the girl did not know who he was or something, because she looks like she's at least got to be at least 18, because she's like,
So
who, you
he
know,
got
So we
reverse
have an
catfish?
18-year-old
What the
girl.
hell?
she got reverse catfish, pretty much,
Catfishing like
exactly.
a 13-year-old boy, asking him to meet up with her,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, he's a
this has
13-year-old
become
boy.
very sketchy
Wait,
all of a sudden.
wait a
He-
second.
he
Yeah.
did-
He did get catfished. It really wasn't her that he was talking to. Okay, all right.
Well,
just
you know,
wanted a little-
lizards eat catfish, I guess. I don't know.
All Billy wanted
No,
was
and
a
then-
little
and the
tail,
art of
and
that
then
joke-
realized he
joke-
had one. So.
Billy
And the
wanted a
art of
little
that is-
catfish tail. Is that what you said, Peter?
Yeah.
I said all he
And
wanted,
the art
all
of
he
that
really
backup
wanted
was
was a little
bad.
tail, and
Oh,
then I
no.
realized he
Oh,
had
a
it.
little tail like a
I'm
lizard.
uncomfortable talking
Oh,
about a
man.
13-year-old with tail.
Oh, yeah, no
No.
doubt.
Oh.
The
Okay,
artwork
so
was bad.
have-
Stegron's gray. Billy Connors is bad.
I did have one bone to pick with kind
Okay.
of the whole concept of this. So Craven's not really as woke as he thinks he is when it comes to conservation, because maybe a bit of a controversial opinion, but something I've learned about trophy hunting is that it is actually of huge benefit to the conservation scene in Africa.
Really?
Like, you have all these rich assholes going and trying to solve their midlife crisis by killing a bunch of great majestic animals. But all that money they're paying is going to the reserves, the nature reservations, the conservatories, and the people who run those conservatories and the rangers. What they do is they pick animals that are causing problems around all the other animals. So like a male lion that's gone rogue and kills every other male lion. They're like, this one's got to die because it's ruining the whole ecosystem. And so that's the one that the rich assholes pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to kill, and then those hundreds of thousands of dollars go towards the upkeep of the rest of the environment. So Craven, maybe check up a little on your news, because these guys might not.
And there's a bunch of organizations that want to get them out of captivity and back into the wild, and that money also is used to get those that were formerly in captivity into the wild.
Now, if they're poaching,
So you're saying the media is presenting a simplistic version of this event that they're trying to promote
shocking,
some
isn't
kind
it?
that they're trying to promote something or whatever, so they're only telling one side of the story.
And they'll spend 2 years promoting a false narrative. I mean,
Oh my!
Man.
Before we devolve whatever, and then we need to have evolutionary. The evolutionary help us. Let's talk
high
about this issue.
evolutionary.
Ashley, you've got a black cat centric issue. I wonder why I gave this to you.
All right. So 16 heh.
Ugh.
Nice one, Ashley.
What is
I have to just
good
come from
for-
memory because I'm on my slow computer right now, and so I can't really scroll through the pages, but I will do my best. So anyways, we ended 16 with Peter getting the spider tracer message from Felicia. So 16 gives us, okay, let's rewind and go into, how did she get that message to him? What happened to her to lead to her up to her being captured, and how she getting tied into this whole mess. So we start with kind of just a recap of who Felicia is. She's a cat burglar, and she was in a rough spot recently and wasn't really acting herself because nasty breakups can have decade-long effects. Apparently, I'm all for it, because as long as it keeps my two together, justify it however you can. But she talks about how she basically, she admits that she was in love with Spider-Man, and they were a doomed relationship, but she really thought those feelings were real. And so when all the hoodoo voodoo with Brand New Day and the spell that Doctor Strange casted that everyone forgot him, yes, thank you, Spencer, for finally addressing this, that she forgot the face of the man she loved. She had no idea who he was, ripped away from her. And believe it or not, that could have some kind of psychologically scarring effect on
who
a
would have
person.
thought, right?
And he smartly uses that to kind of justify her whole little bender that Slott decided to put her through, that she wasn't herself. She was just going through a really, really bad breakup with some unforeseen effects.
That's very true. Very true.
That's how he brushes off the Queen Pin arc, and that's how we have just
Works for me. Works for me.
Exactly. I will take it.
Yeah.
I will take it. And so she's got some aggression that she's working through, and she's in Hammerhead's hideout going after a bunch of his goons and just trying to get to him. And he has a proposition for her. One of his buddies, his foodie buddies, apparently try and picture Hammerhead with an Instagram account, posting all of his his food snapshots and stories. But was it Leland Oxley?
Yeah, Leland
Or
Owsley,
Owsley,
Leland
the owl.
Owsley.
aka the Owl.
The owl.
Yeah.
Has gone missing, and they think he's wrapped up with this Taskmaster and Black Ant business because they've noticed, they've been seeing them kind of popping in and out lately, and they know that there have been some supervillains who've gone missing, and so he says, "Hey, go see what's happening. Go see if you can track him down and see what's happened to him because I've got a partnership with him." And you do this for me, and I'll scratch your back too. You can have your pick of what I have from his personal collection. And Felicia's like, I've gone straight. Well, she hasn't necessarily gone straight, but she's trying to do better by herself and not get roped back into this lifestyle and turn queen pin again. But it's too tempting an offer for her to pass up. So she ends up going with it and regretting it later. But she manages to track him down, finds him in a warehouse where Taskmaster and Black Ant are collecting all of the animal-themed supervillains and kind of had them in these little pods. As she breaks in there, she notices that she actually runs into poor little Billy, who's just in this little cage crying his heart out because, God, he's had a night. He's, gotten... His friends have screamed in terror at the sight of him. He had police shooting at him for just running on the street.
Yeah, as Peter says, just trying to get some lizard tail.
Little tail.
No. But okay, as we're going through this whole thing, it's kind of interposed with her flashbacks, going through her memory.
Right.
Uh-oh.
Oh, we losing Ashley. Whoa, where's Ashley?
As she left the room, he's like,
There she is. Oh.
And
You're cutting out.
a jewelry box that is.
Aw.
You're cutting out, Ashley.
Oh, am I cutting out?
Now you're
A
good.
little bit. Yep.
Every
It's our laptop, folks.
no, I think it's their internet.
Oh. Okay.
How's it going?
Okay.
Yeah,
You
we're good,
seem to
good.
be back now. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Let me make sure Jack's not watching anything.
Jack's in trouble.
So, JR, she's gonna put the hammer down. Get off your Netflix. I'm trying to stream.
Hey, I got no
Okay,
sympathy
video
for him.
games,
If I got to live with
internet
it, so
games,
does every other
stupid.
male in the universe.
But it's good now.
Yeah, yes, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. Do I need to go back?
Well, how much did Jim emasculate the poor guy?
No, you're just on the part where they're showing flashbacks.
You
of Peter
said
and,
doing flashbacks,
Black
which is
Cat's,
that's a pretty significant flashback.
Yeah, so she, goes to freshen up and he's like, "Oh, hey, I got something for you. I'll show you when you come back." And she comes out of the restroom and he's got a jewelry box. Not just any jewelry box, it is a ring box. She appropriately freaks out, is not very happy with him for springing this on her like this. And he's like, "No, wait, let me explain. It's just a joke."
Oh.
Wrong move, Peter. Wrong move.
Ooh.
But what's inside of that box is the spider tracer that we see at the end of issue 16. He says, normally my spider tracers are, designed to go find anything that I want to look for. This one's specifically designed so that it will come right to me. And you can record a message and everything. Now it's just kind of thrown in there, a little throwaway line to understand oh, this is where her message came from.
Yeah.
And she was, of course, not very happy with him. And I like that this shows both of their emotional immaturity back then and on both sides. So,
all right. And so go ahead. No, it's fine.
Back to the present. She she sees Billy there and she's kind of freaking out. She's like, "I'm not really good with kids. This isn't anything I ever dreamed of for my life. So, hey there, little lizard boy. Yeah, help's on the way. I'm here to rescue you. There's a whole squad of we got a rescue team. You're gonna be fine." And she leaves him.
Man, your southern accent just came out.
She's like, "Well, I'm not technically lying. I'll go get help after I take care of this job." Yeah, that's what we'll do. And so she goes into the room with the pods and she sees Taskmaster and Black Ant have. She overhears through her what earpiece or whatever it catches, picks up some of their transmission. They say, hey, we got to get the kid out of here. Let's move him. She's like, oh shit, I've got to go back for him. I can't just, abandon this kid. And as she runs back, yes, it was a trap that they'd set. They say Taskmaster wins the bet that she, even came back for the kid at all. Yeah. She takes them on knowing that she's outgunned and outnumbered. She could, even one of them would be tough for her, she says.
Mm-hmm.
And
she gets the spider.
Right as she's running out, she picks up the spider tracer that, she still had on her. And the flashback is that she has been ruminating all over this stuff ever since, Peter did right by her and, told her his identity and everything. And so she's just been mulling over and over and over again all of these memories that are suddenly coming back to her. And that spurred her to actually go and look for the spider tracer and, keep it on her person.
Nice.
For the memory of it. And as she's also trying to realize she still has feelings for this man, which is really just not putting her in a good place right now. But as she shoots out that message, she gets hit in the back of the head with Taskmaster's shield and knocks her out.
Mm-hmm.
And so both she and Billy are captured. And they wake up in a room at the Plaza Hotel, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, well, this isn't really so bad for being captured. It's nice. I can go get some room service or something, make the most of this. But then she sees poor little Billy there and she's like, oh crap, I never wanted kids. This is not I was never bit by the mama bug. Different kind of bug bit me.
There was a spider.
But I think you're getting into the next issue though Ashley, because the issue ends with
the spider tracer going to Spidey.
Yeah.
Am I? Oh no. Okay. I was just like Black Cat, full speed.
Yeah. So let's get a grade, Ashley. What was your grade for this one? What was 16?
A plus. Spencer,
right.
you doing right by my girl.
Nice. Let's hear Peter. What's your grade?
I believe I gave this an A. I gave it an A.
JR.
I gave it a B.
Mike.
I give this an A too, actually.
An A2. I'm just kidding.
A squared.
Zach, what is your grade?
My grade? Walter was asking if I fell asleep. I was reading, following along. My grade's an A. This actually it's an A plus. This was an issue that I went in going, it's a Black Cat issue. Okay, all right. I like the Black Cat, but I don't love the Black Cat. But sorry, Ashley. But no, I can't.
Let me get my grade, and then you'll get your pros in there. Hold on. All right, I give it an A also. Ashley, pros. What's your big pros out of this one?
Well, first of all, just finally doing her character justice and kind of the retreatment that she's been needing for so long, and actually treating her as a human. She's so relatable, and this is really Black Cat at her best. This is everything I've ever wanted to see with Felicia. She's, she's strong, she's still a femme fatale, which is kind of like what her character's always been condensed to, but we see her fears, her regrets, her pining, her indecision.
She's humanized.
Yes, and it's amazing. I love seeing her, just her reaction to, this unexpected, she feels relief and gratitude towards Peter, but then she's also getting mixed up in all her old feelings, and that's just putting through a lot of emotional chaos.
Yes.
And she's concerned about how, kind of a mess her life has been. She keeps going on about how her luck has really been, kind of turning, on a bad spin lately. And but she's just trying to make the most of it, and it just reminds you how strong of a person she is in her core. That's what I love about Felicia.
What'd you think of those flashbacks? I thought the ring thing was awesome. Ashley, what'd you think?
Yes. And I love how
he would do, like put a gift in a ring box for a girl.
And I like seeing a more modernized take looking back at their relationship. Because, if you look back at it now, it was written a few decades ago. And so it hasn't aged as well as it could. And so to have kind of a fresh take on it is much more humanizing for the characters and kind of puts them... It makes the whole situation more relatable when at first it was all kind of putting a bad spin on Felicia.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, when I read those flashbacks initially, and this is how, shows how what a careful reading I try to do. I initially thought that was immediately after Peter revealed his secret identity. And I was like, wait a minute, you're cheating on MJ? What are you doing, bud? And I'm thinking, wait a second.
Oh, this is like
oh, wait a second.
This
is going way back. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I finally realized. And I realized because, mainly because the way the art looked, because the way they showed the flashback stuff, it was kind of the same tone as when they showed what happened, how she relearned his identity. But then thinking about it more, it's like, well, mentally she would have that kind of confusion because she's just relearning all this stuff based on the way the mind wipe kind of works, because all of a sudden you're having all these memories are coming back to you and you're realizing
and all the feelings
kind of
that go along with it.
Exactly.
One of the things I think is what they tried to show that it was in the 80s, which is one of my favorite things that I've missed with Spider-Man, is that skylight bathroom.
Yeah.
You came right through the
Right.
bathroom. That's straight up 80s. And I love the
That's the
skylight
Chelsea
bathroom.
apartment. Yeah,
It's Chelsea apartment. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love her characterization, and I love
Yeah.
that Felicia, when she got all these memories back, she's trying to find a way to deal with it, and that's it just nails it for him. Like, okay, I got everything back that was stolen from me. It's back. I'm gratitude for it. Now I'm gonna find a way to deal with it, and it's just really hard for her.
It's a perfect. I'm sorry, Ashley. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. It shows what's really important to her, because when
Mhm.
Slott had her, when she was going back trying to reclaim everything, it was a bunch of stuff. Yeah, that's part of Felicia's shtick, but it's not her character.
It's
So,
neat to see that a thief had something stolen from her, which is perfect. It's perfect.
That's great.
yeah.
But I'll say this: this is the best Black Cat story since this guy.
Yeah, with the
Yeah.
baby daddy
And I
storyline.
think it's a
Yeah.
great opportunity too that they're kind of tying in the she's getting this great storytelling done with the video game, and they're like, hey,
Yeah.
let's put some great development on her in the comics.
To
But
add
I'll
on
also-
that, Ashley, to add on that at C2E2 at the Hunted panel,
Mhm.
Black Cat won.
Oh, yeah, no
Ah,
doubt. She beat Stegron. What do you think of that, Ashley?
well, of course she did.
Because
my
Stegron sucks. Anyway,
Hey,
at
least-
I was gonna also mention this is the best Black Cat issue since the Roberto Aguirre Sacasa Back in Black issue that
Yep.
came out. And both of those were exploring her feelings towards Peter. And I the one negative I could say about it is that if you read that issue and then you read this issue back to back, there was an acceptance that she still loves Peter, but she knows she'll never have Peter.
Yeah.
yeah.
And so I'm hoping we're not going to do the love triangle crap.
Wow.
that-
No,
that
we've
they
done
mentioned.
that. We've done
Your
that.
feelings to yourself.
I think I saw in the news. I think I saw some.
No,
I think
but-
it was
but
at C2E2 that Black Cat, MJ, and Peter are going to have like a love triangle thing going on. In the
See,
future.
and to me,
Well-
I'd rather be that love but respect. That
Well, but
you
I do,
see.
but in the context of this, it kind of makes sense because she is getting all these old memories back.
No,
and
it
so
makes
it's like, yeah,
No, it makes
Yeah.
sense. I'm sorry.
We've
Ashley,
been there.
I don't like it. Yeah, we've been there. We've done that. But
think
I guess you could say that with MJ too.
it would be nice to see come out of this that kind of cautious respect that she and MJ had for one another.
Yeah,
I'd
that's
like
what
to
I
see,
would like to
because they're
see,
both
too.
people. Peter's very dear to them, and I'd like to see them both be able to reconnect with kind of a more a less, pardon the pun, catty mindset where it's like, oh, you're after my boyfriend, and oh, you're with my boyfriend. I'm
Well,
like, come on, we're past
Yeah,
that.
I remember the Mark Millar tension that was
Yeah.
drawn by Frank Cho, and that was appropriate considering. But no, I agree with you, Ashley. I want to see the mutual respect because
Mhm.
because it's the two worlds of Peter. Peter needs MJ,
Yeah.
and in some ways, Spider-Man needs Black Cat.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I
I
would
can do
like to see is we've kind of had it set up where, MJ is much more of a partner, and she's kind of like his support for him going out there. We don't have the, oh, this is so hard for me. How can you still do this? This is so stressful. I don't know
yeah.
if I can do it. we have her, but she supports him, but she's still worried if she and Felicia can kind of coordinate, and MJ kind of gives her blessing in a sense that, you know what, you keep an eye on him. I think that would be a great development in their relationship.
A pro out of me that I thought was a clear shot at JR in the issue, which I thought was really funny. If you look at this ad in it, it says Marvel Team Up issue number 1, the classic series returns in April. JR, did you see the classic series returns?
First of all, I don't buy the comics, so no, I didn't see it. But I don't know. I guess you know what.
You just get sent the digital downloads, right?
Something wrong with your eye there, Zach?
Light switch.
Anyway, are you happy the classic series is coming back, JR?
Classic suck at JR. To be absolutely honest, it is more classic than some. To be honest,
Yeah,
I mean, Marvel Team Up gave us a lot of good memories. To be honest,
I would agree.
It was what it was, you know, and it's really fun. It's fun to make fun of. To be honest, I mean, there are things that are just, you know, without digressing too much. I mean, there are some things you read that are just so bad that,
I know.
you know, I mean, I've gone through some things from Spider history and say, I can't do anything with this, you know, it's just so bad, but Marvel Team Up always has something to do.
Right.
Some
There
material.
aren't many cons, but if you have some, let's share them now before we move on to another
Can I do
issue.
a couple more pros?
Yeah, feel free.
More? Okay. The structure was really cool with
Yeah.
the revelation, the timing of it, of, you know, the spider tracer, that big reveal timing or lining up with when she actually uses it. So that was really well done.
Nice. I agree.
Felicia's method of coping with all of her difficult emotions is just pure aggression. Like when she's going and beating up on Hammerhead's goon, she's like, I just have some things I need to work through. I'm like, yes, I love it. And then I love how she has her own customized text boxes, the black with the white border. I'm like, it ties the whole thing together.
Oh, I didn't even notice her text boxes. Wow.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
well
the black
little
text boxes.
cat ears with little eyes on it or
She
something,
has
isn't it?
cat ear text boxes.
Oh, and she's back in the
Oh.
classic suit. No more cat eye shoulders.
Thank God.
Oh yeah, her
Yes, no
I
kidding.
wouldn't even buy that Marvel Legend because it was so bad.
Or
you know,
whip belt.
it's nice to just have one of our favorite characters back, written correctly. I'm like,
Amen.
I have missed a
Brilliantly.
good, well-written Felicia.
Mhm.
Man,
I mean, a girl's text boxes are one of the first things I look at when I
get out of those
Girl.
DMs. Get out of those DMs, JR.
Oh God
Gonna
Almighty!
get a divorce. Cons, do we have any before we move on? Because there was high grades.
No, not really. Actually,
All
I
right.
think it was surprisingly pretty good.
I have a minor con.
Okay, go ahead.
Greg Land.
Oh, that
90%
cover.
of his
Yeah.
I
artwork.
don't mind that cover.
No,
I,
but
I like,
sorry.
dude. This
I don't
cover
wanna-
It looks
is
like
better
you
than
did
this
that.
cover.
Zach, you shouldn't have
Yeah, it does
you shouldn't have
16
it. You
huh
gave it an
is
A+.
better than 18. Ooh, I tell you.
But my problem with Greg Land is a problem with Greg Land in general. Is that
don't
his
mind Greg
his
Land.
faces are basically photocopied, and it's always of porn actresses, and I just don't want to see.
They're
Wow.
porn
Black
actors.
Cat-
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
are actually. They are. It's actually well documented that they
This
are.
is
that
well
he's tracing
documented,
from-
Douglas. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't want to see Black Cat's O face. It's
All
just
right,
weird.
there's your con. Let's go to who's got 17.
That would be me.
Hit me, Mike.
Okay.
Follow
Well,
from that,
Reef.
Mike.
All right. Well, first of all, the issue is written by Nick Spencer and illustrated by Humberto Ramos. And as we open the issue, we find that Craven the Hunter is inside his mansion, and he's stripped down to the buff, and he's stalking his animals around, and he's stalking his animals around inside his mansion, and meanwhile meanwhile outside there his flunkies are digging a grave for unknown purposes. Oh, wait a minute, hold on.
We've gone to the dark side.
I've been reading the Ron notes. It turns out, no, he's not actually doing that. Instead, Craven while he is in the buff, he's going around his mansion. All the animals he finds are stuffed, and he's kind of complaining about how he feels kind of inept.
Real quick, what's
Or
up
no-
with Craven's tats? What's that? What is that?
That's something new. Yeah, that little kind of like leopard.
Craven got
Leopard
leopard
thing he's got.
tats.
Yeah, they kind of like because all of his kids got tats, Brad. So he's got to.
Okay.
Well, I mean, when
Go
you have a
through.
midlife crisis, sometimes people get tattoos, to kind of
Okay.
get a new
Yeah.
look.
All right,
Yep.
Craven.
And
has-
so-
what do they call those sleeves? That's Craven's sleeve.
Yeah,
Well,
but
there you
yeah,
go.
he's kind of feeling bummed because he feels like, but he's kind of feeling, I should be dead, and and he's going hitting the bottle now, and he goes back to his old the grave where he basically blew his head off and fell into during Craven's last hunt, and of course he's just kind of feeling like, but there's still, I got one more hunt left. And meanwhile, we go back to Spider-Man. He's swinging around in the Rain-soaked city after he's just came from the funeral of a gangster named like Joe Face. And oh wait, sorry, I'm reading the wrong notes again. In actuality, he is swinging around the city, but he's not wearing his black costume. He's wearing his red and white, red and blue costume, and he seems to be missing a leg as he's swinging. I guess
Both of those panels, he's missing a leg, isn't he?
Oh
He's
my
missing a
God.
leg and-
It's the
missing
opposite
a leg
legs.
is-
So we know they're still attached.
yeah, right.
Poor Ramos.
It's
all
there
this fast.
somewhere.
Yeah, but again, he's kind of feeling a little bit sick because we said, again, and he's starting to feel something. I guess he hasn't felt this bad since Ned Leeds died. No, wait, no, seriously, that's not. I'm not reading the wrong notes. That is how he's actually feeling, folks. But he did get a message from Felicia, although he can't quite understand it. Something about how she found the lizard's son.
You mean at
and
the
they
end
were
of the
good-
message, she didn't say bye, Felicia?
God almighty.
Sorry.
No, she didn't say bye, Felicia. But the message was really unclear, even though it specifically said, "Hey, I found Billy Connors, and these guys captured me, and all this stuff." He says it was very garbled, but he's tracing he's following the tracer back, and he goes to some like weird abandoned,
Real quick, when did Black Cat get freckles? Why'd she steal
Aw.
Mary Jane's freckles?
He's been out in the
good
sun. for a
question.
minute.
I've never
Yeah.
seen Black Cat with freckles.
I haven't either. Apparently,
Okay.
that's how Ramos draws him in.
Well, she didn't
flashbacks.
have
That's only in the
freckles.
flashback.
Speaking of
though.
She
only
didn't
has-
put her makeup on. Usually she just covers them with makeup. She forgot her makeup.
One
Yeah.
page later.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Felicia
Well, she
flashback
puts-
freckles.
she
You
has a
say
little
that.
travel kit with her.
The flashback. Yeah.
Flashback
Well, speaking
Felicia
of Felicia-
freckles. Everybody, actually say it.
Flashback Felicia Freckles.
There you go.
We will never get through
Yeah.
this review.
Speaking of flashback Felicia Freckles, we cue into where Felicia is with Billy, and I guess as Ashley was saying in her recap of
Whoops.
yeah, she's in this posh little hotel, and she's thinking everything's kind of cool, but Billy's kind of still sobbing, and Billy's like, "Oh, I want my mom," and he's leans up against her, and apparently he's getting nice little cuddle action there, kind of probably a little flashback when he was a baby, considering where his chest is.
There's that little tail again.
And she's like,
Wow.
"There,
The
there,
tail
Billy.
goes up in each panel. No, I'm just kidding.
There, Billy, there." Calm down there, Billy.
Oh, look, there's
It's
the center
okay.
tail. Okay, now hold it.
And we wonder why it took us so long to get a chick again. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, see.
Sorry.
Anyway,
No catfish
Craven.
jokes. No one.
No,
Yeah.
what?
No
No.
catfish jokes. No
Oh,
one.
no catfish.
No, not
well,
this
I
time.
mean, Neve will show up with the Kramer crew from MTV.
Mhm.
Hey,
Nobody
well,
laughed
speaking
at that joke.
You know, Mike
And
Mike
speaking
is plowing through like a snowstorm. Get through it, man. You're doing great.
And speaking of Craven, he shows up in his little posh tux, and he's like, "Good evening, Miss Hardy." I can't
You
even do the accent. I suck at Craven's
Good
accent, so I'm not giving a good
evening,
bother.
That was Dracula. That wasn't Craven.
I was
Dracula
kind of going a little
Craven.
Sean Connery there. with the
Well,
Craven.
I mean, if you're gonna go Connery, go full Connery.
There you go. But no, Craven's he's basically asking him if they are comfortable, and Felicia's like, what is going on and things. He says, well, he says, I want you guys be. You gotta feel nice and relaxed because I expect Spider-Man to be coming for you, for you to any moment now. And she's like, and Felicia, takes offense to this because she doesn't like, because after all, this is the 21st century where women have women can't be used as bait for these great white hunters to attract these things. I mean, she's like kind of feels rightfully insulted. He says
Yes.
and he's like, and she's like thinking like, oh, you forget, this is not going to be, I'm not going to be used as a trap for him. He says, and she's like, well, no, you misunderstand. I'm not going to be the one that's hunting him. And we go to, I believe that's when, I believe that's when Spider-Man goes into the warehouse thing, and all of a sudden we get this green mist that swirls around the area, which seems oddly reminiscent of some other villain picking up there.
Batman 89.
Well, no, I was thinking guy with a fishbowl for a head.
Oh,
for
Mysterio.
A helmet,
okay.
Yeah.
I was going
but
Jack Nicholson getting the city all green, but go ahead.
Yeah,
At
but
first I thought Spider-Man farted.
Yeah, that's true. But who we see that shows up in this thing is young Kraven.
Kraven 87.
Kraven 87. And
wait a minute. Wait a minute. What year did Kraven the Hunt come out? 87?
Yep. You got
it. Whoa! That
Mind
can't
blown,
be
folks.
Accident. That's cool.
Okay, so Kraven 87 is basically just he's like, oh,
nice.
Yes, oh, he says, oh, you're feeling that weak there, Spider-Man. Oh, he says, and
Are you trying to do Bane?
I mean,
you'll see why in a minute. You'll see why in a minute. Darkness. Oh yeah, that's right. Because he does say that at one point. He says, yeah. And
you should just cue me up, and I'll just do all your voices.
Yeah, might as well. You're my clone.
No, you're my clone. Let's get it right.
That's true. Okay,
I'm the OG,
true.
sir.
That's okay. That's true. So anyway, speaking of clones, Kraven 87 is basically kind of pretty much kicking Spidey's butt here because he's both younger and faster and stronger, and Spider-Man's like
Spider-Man's sick and got the stomach green flu,
and a little he's hearing the Drungle drums again.
Oh no, he's getting Tom McFarlane's dooms.
No, he's hearing those jungle drums again, and it's
dooms.
Yeah, and so he's got, and suffice to say, he just gets his and also while this is happening, and I'm sorry to say this, Chi-Town, but.
Don't say it then.
He's getting little images.
Just go right past it.
There's a redhead with blood.
He's getting images of Mary Jane and seeing something and blood splatters and glass shattering, and Spider-Man's like, what is this? Is this and Kraven's like, Kraven 87 is like, ooh, I've heard that there's some hallucinations this race, or maybe it's premonitions. Ooh, and so it's like, is Spider-Man getting premonitions of Mary Jane getting killed or being hurt? He's like,
or maybe they're just gonna have a good time after all the hundreds.
Yeah, well,
what? I don't want to know what they're.
I don't know about the broken glass, dude. That's
extra kinky.
Yeah, but anywho, this is enough to basically bewilder Spider-Man, pretty much. Yeah, and he gets. Basically, he gets down for the count and he loses consciousness, and we get a whole entire black page because I
had to check my browser when I saw that. I'm like,
I
had to.
Yeah,
I just did that again because I was like, I have Comixology, and I'm like, what?
Right.
Now, did the page not load?
Now while this fight is all going on, we have Arcade basically making faces at all of his all the super villains that they've captured, like Manbull and stuff. And Kraven walks in and he's like, "Oh, is all the preparations ready?" He's like, "Oh yeah, everything is all good." And he's like, but again, he's kind of questioning Kraven, like, what's the deal is about this? And he says, "Well, don't worry." He's like, I'm not going to be the one hunting these again, and because. Now he's not going to be the one hunting these things because then what it turns out is that they decide that basically annex off Central Park over the big dome. So aside from this being the most dangerous game, we're also getting an under the dome reference here, essentially.
Stephen King, yeah.
Stephen King thing. And so he's put all the villains in there, and Spider-Man gets carried in there Some great silent panels, by the way, from this. And Spider-Man is put into his black costume because, again, this is a sequel to Kraven's Last Hunt, folks. So we got to have, and also we got to show that stuff is getting serious here. And Spider-Man is kind of a little bit wigged out that this grown man basically undressed him and put him in new clothes and
Wow.
And
glad the page was black. I didn't want to see that.
Yeah. But
That's
but anyway, as Spider-Man wakes up, he gets accosted by the Scorpion, who basically says, "Oh, so this is all your fault. This is all we're the reason why we're here." And then Spider-Man looks around and he sees all these other villains like the Vulture, the Rhino, the White Rabbit, Toad. I think there was somebody. I think maybe the Walrus is there, and
Cuckoo, man.
Yeah, Stegron, the Wasp,
Suckitude, Stegron.
Pandemania's there. I think
Who's
some maybe
Pandemania.
That was some slot creation. He figured, hey, we got to have somebody dressed in a panda suit.
Oh, good.
Wasn't that right around when the World of Warcraft expansion came out with the panda characters?
Something like that.
Oh yeah, there's the panda.
I imagine there's debate.
You got the Serpent Society.
Is that the armadillo?
There. Armadillo's there.
Okay, yeah.
You got pretty much we're scraping the bottom of the barrel here with you got
Hey,
iguana,
Armadillo,
and kangaroo.
Oh, what's
don't be
Toad.
dissing Armadillo.
Toad.
Armadillo was the star of one of my favorite Kane Scarlet Spider issues. A good old fashioned rodeo where they went to the Houston Rodeo, which is the largest rodeo in North America, and the Armadillo was a star. He was hilarious. It was great.
Okay.
Diss on the Armadillo.
Okay.
All right. So,
but they're all kind of they're all proceeding to gain. They're all proceeding like some of them are thinking, well, why wait? Should we really be attacking Spider-Man? And some of them are thinking, well, who cares? It's Spider-Man. This is wait thing. And then Spider-Man's like, you idiots. This is no wonder most of you guys are D-list. This is all Kraven the Hunter's. This is all Kraven the Hunter's scheme. He's gonna try. If you think if I'm here, that means he's gonna potentially hunt all of us. Yeah. And as right on cue, in comes a bunch of Iron Man robot guys that look like that got handlebar mustaches, who look like they're, carrying bows and arrows and rifles, and they're all and swing around like monkeys, and they're all coming in to basically just start mowing them down, and that's where the comic ends. And
grade, sir.
I'm giving this a B. I mean,
B. Okay.
Yeah.
Ashley.
This is a good B+ for me.
Chi-Town.
I gave it an A-.
JR.
I gave it a C.
C. Zach.
Giving it an A because they brought in Carolyn Trainer. Because you forgot her, Mike.
Oh my gosh.
No, that was a squid, wasn't it?
No, Carolyn Trainer's right next to Peter's leg when Peter and Scorpion are fighting.
All right.
How dare you?
Okay.
Biggest pros out of the issue, Mike. What did you like?
Okay, I did like kind of like the characterization of Kraven in this, and I also did like the build up here between. The thing is, the fight actually between Spider-Man and Kraven 87. Seriously, because most time when you're trying to introduce like a new character, like it's the way Spencer did this. It kind of fit with the whole theme here, because here you've got. Before you had Spider-Man, because if you think about it, Spider-Man never really has fought Kraven in his prime. He's always kind of fought, and it's always been kind of like Spider-Man is the younger guy fighting this like the seasoned veteran, and now he's fighting someone who is kind of on almost his level, and also kind of like also kind of shows a little bit. It shows places psychological warfare, and as much as it probably did upset myself and Chi-Town about the whole Mary Jane premonition stuff, it does make you it suddenly kind of ratchets up the tension in the story, because now it's not just that Spider-Man has to save Black Cat and Billy, he's got to escape in order to save Mary Jane too.
And that's his number one priority to get into.
And it's exactly. And so now I really liked how he kind of Spencer's kind of ratcheting up the suspense level of that. And so it's like that was, so it was really good.
Hornetech said I forgot to give my grade. I would give it a B+, A-. I'm more towards the B plus. I liked a lot of it. I'm all into this story. I like a lot.
Yeah.
But Ramos's art wasn't up to task this time. His Spider-Man looked really rushed. At one point, he looked like a wave, like it, just his.
Oh
art,
yeah, he's got like a flag.
Yeah, and I don't think the black suit is really looking that great.
No,
This should look, when you bring in the classic black suit, I want it to look like Mike Zeck's black suit, and it's not doing that for me. So I B plus. I'm more inclined to now. So that's my grade. Any other
more like this?
No, those eyes are too big. Those eyes are too big.
I love
Something
big eyes.
Jack brought up about the black suit is why he's dressed in it now is because that's what he was wearing when he defeated Kraven last. And so now Kraven wants to, it's not good enough for him to beat Spider-Man. He has to beat him the way he was when he was defeated.
Well, he was in the black suit with the last hunt. He was in the black suit in the Grim Hunt. So it makes sense that hunted, he'd be in the black suit. So
right. In other words, for Kraven, the black suited Spider-Man is who he kind of sees Spider-Man as. Like that is your pure essence self.
That's the one that beat me the best.
And it's kind of interesting that it just like it wouldn't be good enough for him if it was fighting the classic suit.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Other pros, what did you guys like?
Let's see.
Honestly, the artwork outside of the black suit, I thought this was probably one of Ramos's strongest issues of Spider-Man.
Really? Man, I disagree strongly with that. However, the cover is one of Ramos's best. I love that cover.
Is great.
Did you know Stan Lee is up on the top out of the panel? If you see the original art, he put Stan Lee because
Stan Lee's head up there.
Yeah, because when he was drawing this cover, Stan Lee died, and he was like, "I want to honor the guy, so I want to put his head on my wall."
Weird way to do that. Yeah.
Now there is a couple of panels that were pretty rough with Ramos, but you look at what you look at look at this. I'll pull it up. The Black Cat right here. That's his best Black Cat image he's ever drawn.
Well, what about the looks like a Felicia back there, two panels back?
You know what? But you know, I think that he's grown. Think about where he was when he was drawing Spectacular.
No doubt. He's much better.
He's so much better, and I think again. When Kraven walks in, that's a great panel. That's a great page.
It seems like the front half of the art is like night and day from the back half. Once he's in the black suit, it's a totally different artist.
No, I think again, I said outside of the black suit because I think that's he cannot draw the black suit. I think we've established that he doesn't do well with the black suit. And I think it's because he's so used to drawing the bigger eyes, that it doesn't look right whenever, this. Look, this panel is not a good panel. Okay,
the black suit,
and it's trying to show a shocked emotion with the black suit, which just doesn't work.
It looks like he just chewed on something, like he just found a rock in his food.
Another thing I noticed on this cover, because it fit with the animal theme. If you look right next to Felicia on the wall of Kraven, I thought that was Wolverine. That's an animal.
No.
But it's the owl, isn't it? But it looks just like Wolverine.
Yeah, right.
I'm wondering why they can't get a consistent look for Arcade. I mean, he looks like Jesse Eisenberg.
He does actually. Not to mention
is this like deliberate? You know, I mean, but it just when we talked about how Arcade looked in one of the previous issues, where his look literally changed from panel to panel. You know, so what does this guy look like?
Right.
Jared, what's the pros out of you, by the way? What are you liking?
One last pro. I think that he did a great job at doing the homage in the opening scenes.
Yeah, I will give him that.
I do like his different look to homages. I will give you that. JR, so here's what you like about the book.
I'll pass. I don't have anything to say.
Nothing?
Okay. No, I don't have anything to say.
No. Okay. What'd you hate about the book?
Like I said, I'm not jazzed by the story. I'm just not jazzed by the story.
All in.
I'm not going to be jazzed.
I'm all in. Other pros before we move to cons.
I'm just super excited with this story.
Me too.
Really on board. I'm interested.
I love this suspension.
I like the setup. I like how I mean, this is just something in general I've noticed with Spencer is that, and I think is a good criticism, like a solid criticism of Spencer versus Slott. Slott was a very story-driven writer, where it was really, there's nothing bad with being a story-driven writer and preferring that method, but I just don't think it's a good fit for comics, which are, the character's brand. So when you have Spencer, who's clearly his everything he's done so far has been very character driven. It's all about, the story and the unfolding of the events is driven by what's motivating the characters. What are the what do they do based on those motivations, and what are the consequences of their actions?
This is not the plot driving the characters.
Yes.
No, absolutely.
It is the characters driving,
which is as it should be. Which is as it should be. It should be.
It was one of our biggest criticisms with Slott, and it's nice to see that we're getting the total polar opposite with Spencer.
Yeah, it's like there is a time and a place for story-driven writing, but when the character is such a big part of it, it just doesn't work. You're not getting the full experience, and Spencer is able to take full advantage of that and show us so many different facets of these characters. Like, I hadn't really seen much of Kraven, because he was killed off before I picked up the books, but I feel like I see so many different sides of him, and I feel really caught up with a lot of the things that have happened without feeling like I'm being bombarded with, hey, readers, go check out, look to this issue. I kind of appreciate that they're just able to tell me and show me the story without just throwing it, leaving it to an editor's note.
And the characters just feel like their default versions. Like that reads like Felicia. That reads like Mary Jane. That feels like Peter Parker. Yeah.
Okay.
They're not just, flat kind of caricatures of themselves with a few, traits thrown in there so you can tell who's who. They're flesh and blood. They're living, breathing characters. They're brought to life.
Yeah. Cons. Mike? Let's take on the cons.
Okay, this is going to sound pretty strange, Con, actually. But one of the reasons why I was kind of semi-joking in the recap about how much reading parts of the actual Kraven's Last Hunt. Well, that's because I think, even though you can argue that, a lot of the artwork and also is very much homages Kraven's Last Hunt.
It's one of his favorite
stories. It also
leans
and it's a good story. I like it, but it leans way too heavily on it. I mean, I'm not just talking about the look of the thing. I'm talking about the themes. I'm talking about the fact that it's kind of you've got Kraven in a midlife crisis thing, and you got the rain, constant rain coming down. You got Spider-Man's sick and thinking of Ned Leeds, and you got this whole thing about the drum things and stuff. I mean, tonally, it just seems way too similar to that story. And I get it. Kraven's Last Hunt is a seminal work, but
it's Kraven's biggest, most well-known story, and it's almost impossible not to reference it.
I know that, but I mean, again, there's a way of referencing it without feeling like you're kind of aping or copying it too much. And I kind of felt like in the beginning, Spencer was kind of got a little bit too much in the copying part a little bit. It just felt like it was too much. He was leaning too heavily on it a little bit. And I kind of wanted a little bit, try to get a little bit of originality more, which fortunately towards the end, it kind of starts going into there a little bit with Brendan biting all the villains in there and everything and having this big thing. But I think it's just, again, I get it. The fact that I get that Kraven's Last Hunt is a great story, but there are ways of basically honoring it without kind of, again, aping it or leaning too heavily on it, I thought, which is,
Other cons, what did you guys have? I said art earlier. The black suit didn't look that great.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Also the missing limbs on occasion.
Zach, you got some cons out of the book?
Sorry, I had to.
We know.
What's that?
I know what you did. It's okay. You pulled a Ron Friends.
Said I didn't do it.
With the telephone in your hand.
I didn't bring the camera into the bathroom the way he brought the phone. Look, the black costume did not look good in this issue.
No,
it's not. Again, with Ramos, I think to me it's the eyes. I'd rather, and I know you're like Mike Zack and his thin eyes. I like the black costume looking like this. I just do.
I don't.
I like Bagley type McFarlane eyes.
Mm-hmm. I do too.
And so I think that Ramos's strong suit is the regular costume.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that next issue will be better. Bless you, Miss
It is.
Ashley.
Ignore me. I'm okay.
Okay. And so, like I say, I think honestly, I think the writing was really, really good. So these are minor nitpicks on the cons.
Okay.
I mean, I gave it an A.
That's true. All right, we're ready to move on.
Yes.
All right, Zach,
Sure.
you've got number 819. Take me through that one.
As soon as my app, Comixology, will load. Hang on. I said I was ready, and then I wasn't.
And this
horrible.
podcast is brought to you by Comixology.
Comixology.
All right. This one came out this week, so this is
It
brand
did.
freaking new.
I'll be right
Yep.
back, guys.
All right.
And I don't
Okay.
know why.
I've got it right here.
No, I'm trying to figure out why you guys are so quiet on my end. I can barely hear you. Anyway, all right, Hunted, issue number 18, Hunted Part 2. Nick Spencer is the writer. Humberto Ramos is the penciler. Victor Alizabara, I can't even say it. Anyway, Edgar Delgado and Eric, I can't say his last name either, are the color artist, and Joe Caramaga is the letterer. The art variant covers were done by.
Oh no, we don't need variant cover.
All right.
Get to the stuff.
All right. So we open with we open. This first page is so we start with spider web. Then we have a centipede going on the spider web, and then the spider captures the centipede, and then we cut to the big giant splash page. And I want to list off all the Z-list villains that you're going to see.
Oh,
First,
man.
start with the woman with the white hair on the right. Who is that?
Oh, that's one of the. I think that's one of the Salem 7
Who?
from like it's a Doctor Strange thing like
okay.
that.
Isn't
Yeah,
she
like
part of
a-
the Serpent Society?
Yeah, no. There's one that's part of the Serpent Society, and there's another one that's Gazelle, who's actually a member of the I guess it was some kind of thing where it's some kind of
Real
whole group of
quick, we got
magic-based,
that gal
like-
Tarantula. Go ahead. We got.
oh, I forgot Tarantula.
Oh,
yeah.
I'll do it. Tarantula.
forgot he
I
was
see
there.
Leapfrog, right? Isn't that Leapfrog?
Yes.
That's Frogman. Is it Frogman or Leapfrog?
I think it's
One of
Frogman.
the two.
Frogman. You got
Okay.
Reptile, Rhino, Killer Shriek, Puma, White Rabbit, Armadillo. Who's that blonde-haired with the X's on her mask? On her
Oh,
eyes?
that was that's one of the members of the Serpent Society, or I think.
Okay. And it looks like you've got Vulture's feet up by the black suited Spidey.
Yeah.
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 I mean, we haven't seen this guy in a while.
Who?
Oh yeah.
Puma.
True.
Alicia's
Puma.
ex-boyfriend.
Boom.
All
Yep.
right.
Yep.
Yep.
Fireheart. Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah. Thomas Fireheart. I mean.
Oh, look who's kicking ass on the next page. Look
Yeah.
kicking ass on the next
Yeah.
page.
all
Mama,
right. Hey, I'm doing the recap, Douglas. Let
well,
me
you
get to it.
stepped up. I'm taking over. Damn it. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. So then we have the Craven bots.
What?
Uh,
Where?
All
yeah, the
behind them, chasing
Oh,
them.
okay.
We're
I'm-
chasing them,
I'm
and
on
we have the
Stegron's
very
page.
next panel before I get to stupid Stegron.
Hey,
Stupendous.
Then he's
Stegron.
like,
Zach,
"Why do
that's
you
what-
cowards run? I fight the horde. I will show them
that
Stegron."
Stegron's voice.
Right. All right.
What in the holy hell?
And then the Madam Beetle.
Yeah.
She's like, "Good for you, Jurassic Park. I'm getting the hell out
That
of
was
here."
great.
That
a
was
great
pretty
line, by
funny.
the
I'll
way.
give you that one.
Oh,
That was
okay.
a great line.
Good for you, Jurassic Park. That's funny.
She hits the dome
Funny.
of shame.
What a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, she made fun of Stegron and then got zapped.
Oh,
you know
this is
what?
what she gets.
This is what
You
you
know
get.
what?
You get the tail or
This
you
is
get
what
the
you get when you
dome.
make fun of.
So they're like, "Oh my God, some sort of force field," and the Craven bots are, We then get the brief recap of Spidey getting his ass beat by Craven 87.
Yep.
We then cut to the Plaza Hotel, where Arcade is,
Jesse Eisenberging it.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, that would not be bad casting.
No, it
it's
would not.
You know, I
actually-
could actually see him play. In fact,
Well, that's because
he played arcade.
He played.
arcade in Batman for
He was
Superman
Lex
already.
Luthor arcade.
I just now like that. It makes so much sense. If you treat him like it's not Lex Luthor and it's actually arcade instead of Lex Luthor, it works.
Perfect
Does
casting.
work.
Perfect
Does
casting.
work. JR, you casting genius.
So then he gives a
Jordy LaForge.
Jordy LaForge.
Yeah, oh my god, it totally is.
And they're like, all right, just do what comes naturally. And so then this guy is like, he's gonna go after the deadly iguana. Yeah, woohoo, yeah, woohoo. How many iguana fans do we have in the room? Because you're about to get your hopes and dreams dashed.
Man.
Anyway,
Yes, very much so.
so apparently because he didn't get laid enough in high school, he decides to kill the iguana.
Pretty much, yeah.
Basically.
Actually, that's true.
I mean, seriously, it's like he didn't get laid enough, and like they made fun of me. I'm gonna kill this iguana.
I'm gonna choke the iguana, which sounds dirty.
Oh man, no, he beats it with a
Oh,
club.
that was-
He beats the iguana. He beats
Douglas, you teach
I
kids.
thought the little tail
So
was just
sorry.
bad.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
You
Sorry.
dirty old man.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I killed it. You sure did, Bob.
yeah. Yeah, he's like, so who wants to go next? And everybody starts bringing out the credit cards because people are bloodthirsty animals.
Put it on your Marvel credit card. Yeah.
yeah.
Apply today and get your Marvel Mastercard.
You can beat your iguana with on
And
credit.
earn 3% cash back on your murder.
So sorry.
So then we
Sorry,
get
why is he doing it?
I know. I'm so sorry. That's so funny though.
so anyway, Black Cat and idiot Billy Connors decides to they get blocked and locked in a
little
cell.
tail.
We get a brief montage of Mary Jane being in danger and
Being a go-go girl. from the
then all of a
60s.
sudden we then cut to the rain. Because this is a direct sequel to Kraven's Last Hunt, so it was the same thunderstorm.
Yeah,
Mary
pretty
Jane
much.
is Mary
It's been
Jane.
circling the earth since '87. The same.
It's the same. It's the same rain.
Calm
On
the
this
finish
exact
line.
same day, it's going to rain. It's going to be a thunderstorm. That's what we're going to do. We're going to. We can't do the hunt yet. No,
Oh my
we
gosh.
cannot do the hunt until there is a thunderstorm outside.
Did
and
Steven
you
Spielberg
the mood.
direct this?
Yeah,
no doubt. Yeah.
exactly.
And
So,
you got yeah.
so Mary Jane's like, instead of doing what she used to do when she was young.
The Freddy Krueger.
No,
Those arms.
Moat
Well-
by the window. Basically,
No.
is what she
Well,
used to do.
What I'm
She's
saying
dancing.
is she used to go dancing. She used to get her go-go dress on and go dancing. Even in the 90s when she was so young. Remember that, JR, when they were all pushing
Very,
Harvey?
they were too young to get married to.
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah. And
She
then,
apparently also had armpit hair and longer legs back then too.
He looks
yeah.
like an
I mean,
ostrich.
she
He looks like
she
an
does-
ostrich.
She has spaghetti arms and legs.
That
She looks like an
that's
ostrich.
good Ramos Mary Jane, right, Peter?
Yeah, she looks like an ostrich.
She's doing the funky. She's doing the funky chicken. I'll tell you that right now.
The sad thing is like the close-ups with Mary Jane, like that last
Yeah,
Yeah,
panel.
the close-ups are really
It looks
good.
But she doesn't have limbs.
Like,
when there's no extra anatomy around, I think we
gosh.
figured out Ramos. When there's no anatomy to screw up, he's great. So just give him nothing but headshot.
what's the bird that sticks its head in the ground? Is that an ostrich?
Yes,
That's an ostrich. Yeah.
yes.
That Mary Jane should stick its head in the ground. That looks awful. I mean, God.
Brad's
There's a
trying to come
reason
up with jokes and
the
failing
ostriches
miserably.
can't fly.
Dude, the 50% success rate. Go on.
So we then continue to get like this like very graphic murder, and then and then the Gibbon, he's running away, and then he teams up with the Vulture.
Real quick, who got shot in the chest that looks like a lion?
I don't know.
Oh,
the
that's one of the D-list villains we don't really care
I don't
about.
even know who
so-
that is. Who is that? Okay,
don't
we
know.
don't know.
It's Spencer clearing the decks.
He made his first appearance.
I think Man Bull was the one that got shot with bullets.
Well, there's
Okay, maybe
also
that's-
there's
another.
a
character.
few of them who are getting. Yeah, there's a few of them who pretty
Oh
much
my
are on
gosh.
the panel, supposedly.
I mean, this is like if Arnold Schwarzenegger was Craven, and it would be his wet dream. Like, I'm going to give you the 9mm bullets. You're going to go out and you're going to go hunting. Yeah.
But Rook, what was that? That was like the Swedish chef more than Schwarzenegger.
No,
Oh no, that was pretty good. That was a pretty good. That was a pretty good on them.
Real quick, the next panel, the very last panel on the next page. This looks like flying carpet black Spider-Man. What is that? That looks awful.
Yeah.
It looks like the flying carpet.
It's the flying carpet.
It's the flying carpet. Ramos,
It's Aladdin.
slow down.
Arabian Nights from Arabian Day.
Oh my gosh. Go ahead, Zach.
Meanwhile,
By Gilbert Gottfried.
meanwhile, the Rhino gets, Rhino gets the lasso of truth thrown around his neck. King Serpent gets choked to death.
Jesus.
It looks like Frog Boy is got his with his venom
No,
tongue.
that's the Toad.
Oh, that Toad. Okay,
That's
Toad. Circa 2000 from the X-Men movie. He's got to try to
Those
swing
must be
along
the
with
French. Those must be the French Craven brats
yeah.
going after.
And then we get to the
I
to the
get
most
it. I get
heartbreaking
it. That was
the
good.
most heartbreaking moment in the entire issue, the breaking up of the bromance known as Black Ant. Or
And
Oh.
who called that one? Who called that one?
that would be
wasn't Mark.
I think everyone kind of was kind of waiting for that shit.
I
I
think-
thought it was
think-
Mark. Didn't Mark call it?
No, Mark.
Mark called it. I think. Yeah.
Mark
true.
wanted the two to have like a bromance miniseries.
Oh,
But he
no,
suspected
you
it was-
called it. Did you call it, Peter?
No, I did not call it. No.
Who called? Somebody called it that the
I think Mark thought it was going to happen, but
Taskmaster
he
was
didn't
going to turn on the ant because
want
the
it
ant
to
is
happen.
a
Neil. It was Neil.
Neil. Okay,
Neil,
yeah.
I think Neil was thinking it.
Neil was
yeah.
right. Wear the
Although he
shirt.
wanted the bromance to continue.
I
Yeah.
don't think
All
it
right.
was him, but whatever.
All right.
Meanwhile, Taskmaster's like, "You're an animal themed villain too." Bye.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
he falls like Wile E. Coyote style. Woo!
Yeah.
Anyway,
Mhm.
That's goofy.
oh well.
Wait, Mary Jane's back in the apartment asleep.
We then get the Gibbon, being left behind by the Vulture because the Vulture's an asshole.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
see,
right.
see next issue, 18 point.
What is it good for? $4.99. That's what it's good for.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
$3.99. My bad.
All right, so Mary Jane then wakes up
Mark called it,
wakes
go
up startled in the middle of the night. Something felt weird and slithering.
Ooh.
And then we have the centipede fall out of her hair, and we then get the a reference to when she killed a poor little rat
Yeah, New
With
York
her
City
shoe.
rat died.
with her
Yep.
shoe.
I remember that. I'd forgotten that scene.
Yeah,
But yeah, I remember that scene from Craven's Last Hunt. Yeah.
and I think she was wearing the same
Shirt.
outfit.
Yeah,
Yep.
same shirt.
Mhm.
Yep. Just the guy's shirt. Yeah.
So Mary Jane then takes it out and puts it outside, and then the centipede who has been also narrating parts of Centidemon was narrating parts of this issue. We get the big reveal that he is gonna keep an eye on her while you're gone.
He's in the
Ooh.
apartment. What? That is a great last
The
page.
centipede's coming from inside the house.
Yeah.
Also, effective
Yeah.
use of shadow because that's an
Yeah.
unfortunate.
It was
shot.
actually a really good jump scare because when I'm reading
And it
online,
is.
I'm just doing one page at a time. I was like, "Ah!"
Yeah, no doubt. That was
Yeah.
that was really cool.
It's
The
funny to
Centidemon
see.
is creeper. Is it pretty much a creep like the little creepy crawlies that he surrounds himself with?
Yeah.
I'll say this.
It's
If you're reading, this is, I'm not saying that comics are going to this, but if you're reading via Comixology and you're doing the panel by panel, like it does, you're right, Ashley, it does surprise you because it's
Mhm.
like, because you're not opening that page. It's
And also-
like,
they made you feel safe. It's like, it was a scare, and it's just a little bug. And she thinks about how she's doing better by herself. She's not gonna be so, scared and let her fear get the better of her. She wants to put kindness out in the world, and you're like, oh. And she goes back. It's nope, you're not safe. Nothing's ever safe.
Right.
Mhm.
so like
that
I
was
say,
solid.
this is solid because I'll say this: one of the mistakes that was made was that we didn't get enough Craven build up towards the story. It was very, very slow burn. With Centidemon, now we're starting to get the acceleration during the Hunted storyline to where when we get to issue 24, 25, it's going to be effective. So I'm liking how he's stacking the decks here
Yes.
with the storytelling.
She's juggling
Yeah.
all of it very well.
And so, all right, Brad, I already know. What's your grade?
Yes. What's your grade?
My grade's an A+. This is
Ooh.
was an effective issue. Yes, it's the middle of a story arc.
Man, we're
yes,
so negative on this show.
Yes, we're so the story is kind of going a little slow, but it's been suspenseful every issue. I felt like has landed the that last page is you got to get the punch in, and he's been landing that final page. It makes me want to read the next issue.
Exactly. The first page is a good cliffhanger.
Unfortunately, this arc kind of suffers, and I like the Black Cat issue. Don't misunderstand. This arc is suffering from the fact that we're getting these issues that are breaking up the story.
Yeah.
This was the same tactic that they used in Clone Conspiracy. The difference is it's not trying to be the special DVD style commentary extra features the way
part of the story
Clone Conspiracy did. It actually is trying to be part of the story. Because it's not like with Clone Conspiracy, you could just read the Clone Conspiracy issues and not read the side stuff and not miss a beat.
If I remember correctly, the amazing issues were more of the Huz.
Yeah.
And the Clone Conspiracy is what the Amazings should have been.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
I think this is actually a really streamlined way of doing it, though, because it doesn't, throw it on to, an alternate series title. It, so it's really easy to keep track of, and I really like the little checklist they've given.
Yeah, I think that's effective too.
Yes, I think it's really well handled.
Yeah. Go around the horn. I got an A- A+ out of Zach. Mike, what's your grade?
B-.
B-. All right. JR, can you go lower?
No, I'll give it a B-.
Okay.
No!
Peter.
After
A+.
C's all episode, he finally gives something other than a C.
Well, that's because it's finally going somewhere.
Jeez. What was Peter's? A+? Is that what I heard?
Sure. A+.
All right. Ashley.
A+.
We're so negative.
A- out of me.
We're so damn negative.
Zach,
Toxic.
biggest pro. You kind of already said your big pros. Let's open it
Can I
up
say
to
some
the.
pros?
Yeah, go ahead.
So one of the big pros that I have is that going back to what Zach said, some people are complaining that it's slow paced.
Yeah.
But going back to what we said, like the characters are driving the story. And I know these Hus, should really be a part of the Amazing titles. It should be like 16, 17, 18, 19, and so forth. I think the reason why they're doing this is to give Spencer, some character-driven stories, but also they're saving like the big numbers, like 25 and 50 for something they got going on. So
The
that's why we're
stuff,
doing this.
If you read the solicitations, obviously Sentademon is going to be playing a huge role this summer. And as big of an arc as Hunted has become, that's really the story that's been building since issue 1. So
Yeah.
I think the reason, and I'm going to speak for JR, and he can. I think one of the reasons that JR likes this issue is because we're getting some momentum on the Sentademon front.
Let's hear it from JR. Why'd you like it?
Well, it was okay. I mean, like I said, I don't want to credit Zach with any kind of psychic powers or anything, but but the thing is, I knew the Sentademon story because Sentademon apparently is, going back to number 1, Sennademon's tied in with Mysterio. So, I knew because we're waiting till June for any of that to pay off because that feeds later into a news story actually. So I knew that we weren't moving that much on that front, but we're finally in Central Park. We're finally in Central Park running around, and, it's kind of like a big panoramic movie. And another thing I like, to be honest, I as much as I just don't like Grable's art, I'm liking his Mary Jane's freckled faces, bright green eyes. I don't know. I just
This
kind
was
of
a
like.
Mary Jane centric.
Again, this is some of the best Mary Jane work he's ever done. And granted, he didn't get to do much over the last 10 years because of Slott's deadline issues. Let's just say, because I say there's Ramos when he's on a tight schedule, and then there's Ramos when he has time to actually do work. This is this one.
His Mary Jane, he spent a little bit more time on. His flying carpet Spider-Man in the black suit annoys me.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
And why does Killer Shrike wearing Batman's colors? In that very first page when they're all there running from the robot Cravens or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like he's got the yellow belt and the dark blue tights and the gray. It's like he's wearing Batman's colors.
We already went over the pro of the nice one, Jurassic Park. I thought that was really clever.
Mm-hmm. Right.
The cliffhanger with Mary Jane is epic. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's
I
another
love
pro?
it. I hate it, but yet I love it.
The
But
pacing
it's
of it
the-
is really well done.
Yes, the pacing
Right.
is good.
It does
I'll-
ratchet up the tension of the story too.
Yeah.
I think that's another
ahead.
And
thing
it's
to
Go
go.
ahead,
creepy
Ashley.
too. It's so
I'll
creepy.
say what this really did is, I've never been that much of a, I'm okay with MJ, but she's never really endeared herself to me until now. Spencer's been able to write her in such a way that she feels like you really get to feel the weight of the growth of these
Mhm.
characters, the weight of their experiences and the things they've learned and how those have shaped them. And I like
Mhm.
that you just get a sense of the shape of their arc, comparing her previous coping mechanisms, going out into the club with who she is now, which is just staying at home and doing something she loves, and kind of putting her that self-care
Yeah,
first. I really appreciate.
dancing takes her mind off of Peter's danger.
Yeah,
That's a
Mhm.
coping
doing it in a
mechanism.
much better, like a much healthier environment now. I just like
Mhm.
Spencer putting so much of an emphasis on self-care, whereas I'll compare again to Slot. Slot's characters were very self-destructive.
Yep.
Go ahead, Zach.
No, I'll let you. I'll let you finish your point. And I'll
Okay,
go after you.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I won't analyze too much. I think it just gives me a lot of insight into just their own personal philosophies and worldview. But I really like it's just so refreshing to see these characters want to be better for themselves and want to improve, and that just makes them so much more relatable. And that really endeared me to MJ, to see who she was before and compared to who she is now, and how she feels about that.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Zach.
I'm going to get slightly personal for a second. There is ways to cope with stress, and there's ways not to cope with stress. Mary Jane, for the longest time, was about escapism. She did not want to deal with the realities of the situation. This is a respect to her partner in Peter, because before, when she'd go out, she'd just do whatever she wanted. And as somebody that my ex-wife did this a lot, she would go out and go run around, and I knew about it, and I tried to give her that inch, so to speak. And she took a mile. But the point is that there's a respect that Mary Jane has for Peter. She could be doing her old things, but she's doing like what you're saying, Ashley. She's doing this because she cares about Peter, and she doesn't have to be surrounded by people to have that fun. She can be sitting there at home having that type of fun instead of going to the club. And quite frankly, if you're a single person and you go to the nightclub, it's not cheap.
No.
The way it used to be. You got to pay for the cover charge, and then any type of, well, Mary Jane wouldn't have to pay for any drinks because every guy'd be like, hey, trust me, because I've been that guy.
So far, this is more interesting than the comic story.
But my overall point is
by the way, what's your success rate for buying a girl a drink? 80%, 70%, what? 20%? Well, I want to hear this. Let me, because
about 60,
all of
I would
us,
say 65.
60%, 65%.
Yeah.
Well, how are we defining success?
Like she'll come over and talk to you, maybe get a phone number.
Okay, getting a phone number, that's about 80%.
Ooh, look at the clone with the confidence. All right.
That's about 80%. Now,
man.
sometimes now, it depends on the situation. If she's surrounded by her girlfriends, sometimes the girlfriends will be like, "No, don't go over there. He's weird."
As Anthony on YouTube chat says, Zach was the guy with the waitress earlier today.
True story.
Did you get the waitress's number?
No, not tonight.
Did you give her the tip? I'm so sorry. I'm very sorry.
Down.
I'm very sorry. Okay, let's go to cons.
Man, Brett Douglas.
I don't know.
Thank you, Ashley. I applaud you.
All right, so sorry.
So anyway, no, like I say, I think that there's a good. It's nice to have a character that's written like a freaking human being.
Yes.
And and this is not your fault, Ashley, but for the last 10 years, Mary Jane has been written as a caricature of herself.
Oh yeah, she's over in Iron Man of all places.
I mean, exactly. But even there, I mean, she was still wrote better because I'm sorry, but Dan Slott can sit there and say, I like Mary Jane. He's full of crap.
Yeah.
The way he wrote the character for 10 years,
he may like her. He may like her, but he can't write her.
He is awful at writing women.
Yeah.
He not write them in a respectful way.
Even Anna Maria Marconi, as good as she was at the beginning during the Superior arc, she became a shell of herself by the end.
Yeah.
Cons. Biggest con, that cover. You know I like my covers.
Is that a bigger con than MJ's arms?
Yeah, that's my
MJ's spaghetti arms.
MJ's spaghetti arms is bad, but
doing her impression of Miss Marvel.
This thing I like the idea of the cover. All the villains are running away. The hero is standing towards the danger. I do like that, but I don't like the Wreck-It Ralph hands on Spider-Man.
Yeah,
and
again,
too busy. Too busy.
Again, it's anatomy issues that is just common with Humberto Ramos.
Yeah, this is one of those rare times where usually when he's illustrating stuff that's a lot of like movement kind of or simulating movement thing, he kind of gets away with it. Not here.
It's very static. The characters are very static on this cover, and normally when he's doing stuff like you're saying, Mike, when he's doing dynamic stuff with movement, you can feel the movement. It's kind of like Sheets Galloway with Spectacular Spider-Man.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was designed to be something that moves well.
Right. But I mean, even in the interiors, I don't think it kind of felt like it didn't really move.
Yeah,
well, it was here. I mean, it's just. I mean, there's parts of it you can kind of tell that it's fast paced and stuff. But again, it just is not one of Ramos' strongest thing.
Quit bragging, Peter.
Peter got a sketch from Ramos. Did you talk to Ramos much?
I did. He's very nice guy.
How is his English, by the way? Does he speak English?
He does speak English. He speaks very good English.
Oh, good, good.
Now
the thing is, United States, Douglas. He's not from.
He's not. He's not.
Right.
Is he not?
Now the other.
No, he's from Mexico.
Mexico,
yeah.
Because now on his Facebook is all in.
It's all in Spanish.
Spanish. Yeah.
So yeah.
Now the other con I have of this thing, and this is going to sounds really weird. While I thought this was well written, I didn't really love it because I kind of felt like there seemed to be kind of like a cynical edge to the thing, especially when he starts when you start off quoting like something from like Thomas Hobbes, who, for those of you who are studying philosophy, whoever read Leviathan, Thomas Hobbes was not a very cheerful guy. He kind of believed that mankind was naturally predisposed to kind of like, like the quote says, like, short, brutish, and or whatever it is phrased. He basically felt that in order to not Calvin and Hobbes, but
this is the only Hobbes that I really care about. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know, but he's one of those things, and I think the issue captures it kind of well, is that man is very naturally predisposed to anarchy and savagery and war and killing their fellow man. Yeah, very much so.
Counter that.
But which is why he advocated, by the way, dictatorship, because he felt that was the most strongest form of basically keeping people in line. But reading this whole thing and seeing how like you got the villains are basically kind of like some of them are fighting, some of them are fleeing and everything, and then you got the patrons that Kraven's hired, and it's kind of alleging that, hey, if you got enough money and ways and means, you too can become an unrepented murderer, and it's just like. It just kind of felt to me, it was just like, wow, that's a very kind of cynical approach to human nature almost a little bit. Not that
our protagonists are putting out there, because you bring up a good point with how that one element was woven throughout, the whole part in Central Park.
Yeah.
But it was followed up with MJ waking up from her dream, and she takes that little bottle. Yeah. I'm like, I like saving bugs and everything.
Oh yeah, and I'm not and I'm not saying I don't like dark stuff. I do. I mean, sometimes it was well written,
but it feels like this is not
something like a cheerful book. And the way I think it was almost felt like the way it kind of came across, it felt to me, it was like, aha, look at all these loser villains getting killed, and look at all these people celebrating things. Yeah, it just felt.
I also kind of get this sense from the way, I mean, because think about it for a second. When he puts that visor to people's faces, if you're doing that today in the real world, obviously it's like a video game.
Oh yeah, very much so.
I kind of get this feeling of that to them, and it feels that I don't think they realize the full extent of what of their actions. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think that they're being manipulated by Arcade and Kraven. They don't understand the full.
Well,
and I think once we get later in the story, and the human beings are realizing that they're actually killing these people.
I think they know. Don't give them too much credit. I think there's a dehumanization aspect because they're supervillains, and furthermore, they are animal-themed supervillains.
Yeah.
So that further removes them. It's like it takes them away from their humanity, and so they're really trying to play up. You're killing animals.
Yeah. I think we lost Mike.
Did we lose Mike?
Oh, he's frozen.
No, man.
Other cons, JR, what did you not like about it?
I really don't have anything to add. That's
come on.
You said that about the pros. Give me something. Give me something I can use as
Goblin wasn't in it.
No, not Glenn Fry.
Come
who's
on,
the other
JR.
eagle? Who's the other eagle? Help me.
Don Henley.
Don Henley. There you go. Don
Oh,
Henley.
Mike's back.
Yeah, he wants to get
He's
to the heart of
too
the matter. There.
Well, I mean, I don't really have anything to say that hasn't already been said. I mean, people, talked about the shortcomings of the art, and have talked about the shortcomings of the story, and there's not much else to go with it.
Okay.
We just need to have JR go first so we don't steal all his points.
Yeah. But going back on before I got cut out there on Zach's point there about I picked up on that as well. I mean, it's very much that the idea that's very much kind of like almost seems like a commentary about of online video gaming and stuff, especially with those with the visor things, which those things connected to the cerebral cortex, that's going to come back somehow. But it just, to me, that was my issue with it. Is that it seemed to be so, and I'm sure Spencer's not actually advocating this or anything like this, the way, because it is narrated by Sentademon, who by the way I think is Carly Cooper. I'm gonna go with Neil's prediction there about how this is this is Carly Cooper using Mysterio tech. I've actually saw a really good theory about that, and it's was very convincing.
What's his motive? What's her motive?
She's still affected by the Goblin Serum.
Oh,
remember she was affected by the Goblin Serum way back in Dan Slott thing, so it's kind of played. It's kind of toyed with her mind.
If we're gonna make Carly Cooper a villain, there was worse things to do with that character. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, I'm all for it actually, but
I also get this sneaking suspicion it's Flash.
I don't think it's Flash.
Well, no, but here's the thing, though. I mean, he doesn't. But the way the clues are, it's like it doesn't seem like coincidental that suddenly Carly Cooper just shows up and approaches MJ, and it's like, all this stuff, and also all the connections that she's had. As she's also, if you remember, in Brand New Day, there was that story.
Yep,
she does have a connection with Mysterio because of her dad, through her dad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And there's also
when they had that lunch, she could have put a bug in her head.
Oh,
yeah, and also the thing is also it's
that
also
thing was
why
crawling
she
around for days.
I don't know.
MJ apparently does not wash her hair. Apparently.
Our very own.
It feels pretty clear that the thing just dripped out of Taskmaster, out of Sentademon's mouth as he was blooming over.
Actually, Dark Mark said, did the centipede just crawl into her hair, or was Sentademon stroking her hair while she slept?
Oh, that's even better. That's as
even
creepy as that
creepier,
is.
dude.
That makes sense. It's like
I have to go to bed after this.
All right. Any other thoughts before we wrap this long episode up? Four issues.
I'll go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
This is I saw that we had 4 issues to do today, and I'm like, I was feeling a bit of a drag because I'm like, I got to catch up on all this reading, and I'm not, it felt a little overwhelming. But as I started reading through, I'm like, I'm really enjoying this. This doesn't feel like a chore when I was trying to catch up on smart stuff. And I started getting really excited, and even when I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna be up till like 3 tonight because we're reviewing 4 issues, and I'm gonna have to make coffee, and I'm
she's already in her jammies,
sugar and caffeine. But I'm like, after reading all of them, I'm like, I'm really excited to talk about this, and I'm really I feel energized. That whole slump was just gone after reading it. It's just
Yep.
so nice to
Mhm.
feel that way again.
Look, I know that there are
Final thoughts, Zach.
I know there are fans of Dan Slott that were always excited to talk about Dan's books, but as somebody that became not a fan of Dan Slott over the period of years, it's nice to come into a book and come into a review show where I know that I'm going to enjoy talking about a story.
Yes.
The only time I get that consistently lately over the last several years has been when I talk about the Mayday Parker series on Mayday Mondays on Spider Radio Network. So there's a plug. But you know what I mean? It's nice to come into a review knowing that I'm going to enjoy having a intelligent debate and discussion with my good buddies.
Yeah. Final thoughts, Mike.
Who would have thought I would have enjoyed a Black Cat issue? So,
Do you not like Black Cat in general? I thought you did.
No, I mean, no, I do, but I do think sometimes it can be a little bit too Catwoman on guys. But that's a
Well, Mike's been exposed to Black Cat
a
over
little
the last
bit
10
yeah.
years, so
Yeah. No, but seriously, no. I mean, seriously, I am kind of even though I have my quibbles about the story about it, a little bit. I am kind of interested in where this is actually going. And what the whole full scheme of Hunt is going to, how it's going to play out. And also I'm same George isn't here to enjoy the stay ground mode because leading the charge and also Brad, I'm surprised you didn't list one of your cons is about how this last issue barely had Spider-Man in it, but oh well. Yeah.
But it's a compelling. It's still a compelling
story. Yeah.
I mean, there can be. We've seen issues even in the. There was some issues in the '80s where Peter barely appears in the issue. There were some Paul Jenkins books that Peter didn't appear in the issue at all.
If it's well written and stuff around him is happening that I enjoy, it's sad to say I kind of forget about Spider-Man. I love Mary Jane so much, and I like Kraven as a villain. I like. I'm all into this story. I like the story. And as you mentioned that, you're like, I realized to myself, I mean, Spider-Man really wasn't in it that much.
But I'm gonna say this: Spider-Man's world. There's not outside stuff driving Spider-Man's world. It's Spider-Man's world driving the story.
Yeah. Very much so.
Every piece that we get isn't some deviation to be like, oh, what's going meanwhile back at the ranch, what's going on?
Yeah, it's very well balanced and very well
driving the story forward. It is all strategic.
Yes.
It's all part of a bigger whole.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. JR, final thoughts.
Well,
it's already been said. I'm just kidding.
I can't wait. I was about to say I can't wait till this is over to see where we're going next. Frankly,
well, we're going next to the news podcast. Is after
next on the Spider-Man
the result, the Centipede story. I'm curious to see where that one's going. This is just kind of a speed bump in the way, as far as I'm concerned.
Man, Peter, final thoughts. You get the last word.
Where Stegron's charging to get all those robots.
Where?
On C2E2. I made that debate on there and still lost to White Rabbit.
Oh,
so it was very rewarding to see that, after I said.
It's because Stegron sucks.
No.
Man. We're not going to end on Stegron sucks. We're going to end on Stegron rocks. Thank you, YouTubers. Hey, we're going to be back in about 10 minutes. We're going to take a break, and I'll start a new video feed of Spider News. We've got Ditko News in that episode. We've got JR talking about weird spider-related headlines. We've got Avengers Endgame. We've got Far From Home news. We've got
Spider-Man wins an Oscar. And
Maximum Carnage.
If you want to get notifications, hit the subscribe and click the notification bell so you can be informed when we go live once again on YouTube.
We will be back in 10 minutes.